indoctrinated. I'm spitting homicidal verses, dog, be my patient. Smoking weed in Rocky Vegas, we out in Vegas. You ever hear my verses whispering your conversation? Google agent Smith scroll and see the matrix. Hood X's revolution, dog, history in the making. They drop you off the ceiling while I'm in the lobby waiting. I bring the horror like I'm Michael with the mask of Jason. Look up Mason, Avatar, see some shit amazing. The side effects of my verses is sex, you get impatient. I spit my shit, you spit your shit, you started calculating. You can't contain what's energized once it's activated. Pressing buttons can't rewind me, this is conversation. You turn me off, still hear my voice as your imagination. Now revolutionize the market till assassination. I'm gone already, bitches love me like I'm Baby Chase. You can't beat my avatars, I know it's fascinating. If I die, I'm coming back, that's a resurrection. I'm calling you in my voice, deep been initiated. I see your face and see my face, look at the shit you face. Introduce you to my root, and nigga, meet the maker. Got Machiavelli in my verse, Illuminati language. You understand the underground, but I'm the undertaker. Bullets on the premises, now they evacuate. She say she wanna know the list, she gotta make a payment. We moving fast, I'm so hard, bitch, no concentration. The way I move, I'm like a genius, bitch, you gotta hate it. You can't contain what's in my blood, cause the passion's sacred. Nigga, I be cracked the code, I know the combination. When you think of me, start thinking of determination. Your baby mama want the D like she ovulating. And if you try to come at me, I'll eradicate you. I'm in the heat, the third eye got observation. You can't see me, I'm a ghost, I think I'm Walter Payton. Run it back, I run the shot, nigga, can he take this? Look at him hate. Revolutionize, energize, I'm sure to rise, my soul, surprise. My niggas got me, my city cops trying to pop me, niggas trying to stop me. My future flow is intelligent, that fuck shit is irrelevant. I'm God body, I'm 5%, I got the solar power, I can pass the strength. Knowledge, wisdom, with understanding, I'm back commanding what you demanding. I'm out of control and I'm throwing tantrums. You got the problem, I am the answer. Yo, baby mama say she think I'm handsome. Stop talking shit.
Yo, this your boy, Formatic. My brother, Real, a.k.a. Brother Manifestation. How you feel, brother?
I'm excellent. God's body.
Excellent. Cool.
Excellent. How you doing today or tonight?
Okay, tonight's show is brought to you by Godspeed Nation. And like we always do around this time, every time we'll be indulging the Godspeed sciences. The sciences that will explain the unseen scene, the things you see in your neighborhood, around your neighborhood, in our lives, that you can vaguely explain. We're here to do it for you. Tonight's show was brought to you by Godspeeding.com, which is the website. If you haven't signed up, please do, where you can receive all this information that you don't catch or may forget on tonight's broadcast. And pretty much like I was saying, we're going to get into the Sampson and Delilah story on tonight's show. And it's Carbo, brief them up on that.
Okay. Well, like the brother Formatic is sharing, this is Godspeed Nation broadcast, and this is the 7th installment of the Lit Science series on TalkShoe. And tonight we're talking about, we're going to be building on the Sampson and Delilah avatar, which is very prominent in the American culture. It's so prominent that I'm starting to see it, and others are starting to see it in other parts of the world, not only in America. So we're trying to figure out why is that, and the only way to do that is to get to the meat and potatoes, the core of who these avatars are and how they affect you.
Right, and okay, we understand that. We got to think the crowd got to do that. And basically, what just to brush up what he's saying is that these avatars is a deity for a spirit possession. Meaning it's a stand-in for who you think you really are. Meaning sometimes a lot of people are not the person that they think they are. They are a stand-in, which is a program that's given to us to emulate. You see what I'm saying? So in our subconscious, unconsciously, we emulate these programs that's given to us in, slick ways like the TV, the radio, the media suggestion, or what the actual matrix in the world thinks of you or perceive you as you should be. Like, if you're a thug, you should be like this. If you're a schoolboy, you should be like that. So maybe those are avatars, and you try to find which one you want to fit into. And, and basically they lock you in like that. And it's a nice show about the Sampson and Delilah story. It's a right on GodspeedNation.com from Godspeed Nation. And it's telling the average tale about a man and a woman, and particularly a black man and a woman in Black America. And one of the things I've learned is that each person, each relationship, or each situation is isolated for the next. Like, we don't have no idea we're fighting the same battle. We don't have no idea that we're going through the same type of things with our ladies, or the same type of things with our men. We don't have no idea that the fact that if we knew this, we would step back and say, what is this? Instead of thinking it's an isolated incident, and it's just me and you going through this, and this how you argue, and this how I argue, and this how I be, and this how you be. No, it's a program that's being put out there that we are all going through the same thing, fighting the common enemy that we can't see because we think it's isolated. We think that it's just the problem is you and him. And then even isolated in that, the problem is him, not you. Or the problem is you, not him. We never look for it inside ourselves to see what can we correct, or if there's anything that we can correct. So it brought me to a show we did the other day about perception and how people see themselves in accordance to the world, and how the world really views them, or how they really are. You know what I'm saying? So, Carbo, how you want to kick it off?
Well, you know how I love my narrative. I love stories. I think the world is made up of stories, personal and impersonal, big and small. So we're gonna start off with the original writing by the brother Pomatic, Sampson and Delilah, A House Divided, which you can find on the Godspeed website at Godspeed Writing, under the Godspeed Writing. So I'm gonna start off reading that.
But first, let me iterate. Okay, we're going to speak on 3 avatars tonight, maybe 4, which is Delilah, the Delilah avatar, the Jezebel avatar, and the Sampson avatar, and the Sahu avatar. So we're basically going to really speak on 4 avatars and how they all coincide with each other. And before you read Sampson and Delilah, Jezebel turns into Delilah in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And she's the cute, big girl, in high school, got it going. Everybody, wants her. And she's been exposed to so many things that her whole mind becomes materialistic and shallow. And over time, through all that materialistic and shallowness, she loses herself. She lets go. She gains weight. She starts working out. She starts trying to substitute the nails, the hair, and the weave for the actual attitude in the body. So she stopped giving a fuck after so many relationships with brothers of seeing her shallowness and branching in to hit it and leave, that she just started to let go, and she started eating for comfort. Then she gets big, and then she just let go. And with the bigness comes a big attitude, and she turns into Delilah. So the things she didn't accept from men at first, now she's accepting. The things she said I'll never do, now she's doing. And Sampson, where he was a gangbanger, he was a chief, he was on his throne, he was a god, he was almost a god, where he was a god body somewhat at one point or time. And what happened over him is the fact he lost himself and he lost his ways. So he started indulging in what he was told not to indulge in, which was Sampson was told not to indulge in too much or overindulge in too much alcoholics or intoxicating liquors, as the books say, or poisons, and not to be hanging around dead man people. But Sampson didn't follow that law. So what he wound up doing was hanging around dead man people, which made him weak, and then started drinking with them, which made him even weaker. He didn't know he was the one. So then after a lot of times, going to jail, not being able to get a job, the depressing shit that a nigga go through in life, he starts seeing, he finally says, I just want a lady. And which turned out to be Delilah. And over time of her bashing and talking shit and the fucked up ways and shit, he starts making them weak to where he starts seeing the world through her eyes and the way she wanted. And he just completely, he's the type who just maybe sometimes just sit at home. She go to work, he'll watch the kids a little bit, maintain that, cook, sit back, watch Jerry Springer, and drink a couple of beers. And oftentimes, Sampson turns into this, but once he finds his way back home, he might be all right. So that was just a briefing of how, we come up with the story and what we're leading into and what to expect. So, but go ahead, Carbo, read the first chapter or the first piece of the Sampson and Delilah story. And here is just a visual of what we're talking about. And we're going to break it down as we go.
Mm-hmm. Sampson and Delilah, a house divided. Godspeed, right? Through the window came sounds of music, police sirens, and niggas whistling communications of gangbanging. It was high noon. The sun beamed hard. The window fan was buzzing as if it was being overworked. Jerry Springer was playing on the TV set. Hold up, let me go get another beer, said Sampson, as Delilah answered the phone. Sampson cracked the ice house beer and sat back down. Delilah proceeded to finish braiding his hair. She would secretly leave one braid cocked and loose, hating for no reason.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Let me explain the scenario. Remember where I left off. I didn't mean to cut you off, G, but this is how we're going to rotate. Because I got to, I'm going to break it down as you go. So let me explain the scenario that was just read. The atmosphere is actual. It's hot. It's kind of irritable. The fan going. It's just the hood. Like, how the hood. You just zooming in through a window, and then here goes a what we call, I think, is an isolated incident. And basically, she's braiding his hair. And she leaves his hair uneasy just to keep his pride low, just to keep him from feeling good about himself, just to say, nigga, who you think you is? You ain't the shit. So by keeping him like that, she kind of thinks she has a control over him. So when he look in the mirror and he can't say fresh to death, he almost say fresh to death, and then he's like, damn, man, she fucked his braid up. But if he go back and tell her, it's going to be a problem. So right there, he kind of like, fuck it. So now when he go into the world, he can't be like, Joe, my hair fresh to death, I'm fresh to death. He thinks that anyway, but he still got that zigzag in his head, that crooked ass braid. So then he can't flex. So she do that little shit to keep him from stroking his ego, which is a good thing that she's supposed to do, because if she make him feel better about himself, he can do more for her. But women kind of try to keep that claw of control, especially Delilah, to keep him with a lower self-esteem of who he think he is. So that way, he won't, whatever the hell they think he's finna do, he won't really do it. But that's just a subliminal thing she do. It's like iron a shirt, but leave one sleeve wrinkle. You know what I'm saying? You ain't finna get your cake and eat it too. You ain't finna be too much like you feeling good today. Ain't no Teddy Pendergrass with the joint with all white on ride downtown, nigga, because I'm going to put some motherfucking red Kool-Aid on that shit. Mm-hmm. Come on, Carbo. Read the next one.
We got it. And also, too, that whole thing is a way so other women, potential love interests, won't look through this, won't look at Sampson as an attractive man. So he's basically, chained to Delilah because she tried to make him look like a slob. Even though he should be able to check himself and take care of his own business. But
she keep that edge off of him. Yeah, she keep that edge. If he looking good, smelling good, feeling good, he gonna say something. But if he kind of got the red Kool-Aid on his shirt, he gonna kind of, it's like some couple of females I see, they be looking cute, but then when they get a cold sore, they kind of humble and they held their head down. They ain't really saying shit. I gotta wait till this leave before I can go back to being popping my gum and talking shit. Yeah. So I got this big ass bump on my lip. So yeah, it's like that. It's like having one of them motherfuckers and you can't wait till that bitch leave.
Yeah, because he becomes what you can say a shadow walker in a sense, trying to be just shuffle through life and not be seen because he embarrassed about his appearance. You know what I'm saying? So, and also too, I wanted to just bring up the fact, brother, that we're talking about this low level of a god body, which is Sampson and Delilah, a low level. However, there is also a higher frequency to this relationship. Even in the quote unquote conscious community, there are couples there's couples that they may nitpick each other when they're talking to each other or others about how they're using spiritual terms and whatnot and trying to speak at a high frequency. But this still goes on. This behavior still goes on. It's just at a higher frequency. So it's not just limited to the hood. It's also in Mini Zion, which is the suburbs as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right, the nature is different. It's the same archetype program, but the nature is different. And they improved. That's the 4.0. You know, it's just for the ignorant, but now it's for whoever think they got it, you know, living. They improve, and it's like another level of it, because it's basically man against woman. That's the basic bottom line. You know, ain't no unity with it. Man, me against you. As long as they keep that cracking, then they ain't got to worry about us doing a damn thing or nothing. But go ahead, B. You got anything you want to add on? Okay, what's the number? She braided his hair.
She braided his hair. Hate for no reason. You know, but there is a reason. Mm-hmm. That's why Ray coded right here. So here we go.
Yeah, but on the surface, there's like no reason.
There is.
Yeah, because Sampson don't know what the fuck going on. He like, damn, it seems like she love me, but she do hateful shit. That type of shit to be in his mind all day. Go ahead.
It's the way to cut his strength.
Yeah, cut his strength. Yeah. You get weak. You can't fight a battle when you got war at home. I mean, you got a civil war in America. How we gonna go to war with China? You can't. You got to fix the home front first before you can go to war with the world.
Her conversation gave a tone of cackling hyenas, which caused Sampson to drink more and more till the tone was drowned out. He was the son of Mohammed, of Zohar, of the tribe of Dan. He had great strength. In the past, he was the chief enforcer of his gang. That was long ago now. It seemed to be a house broken. Sampson forgot the laws of spiritual discipline, which gave him physical strength. He lost all the understanding and often hid from the sunlight. Unlike his grandfather,
go ahead,
who taught total abstinence from all intoxicating liquors and to always keep a fresh hair to do any furthermore to stay away from dead-minded men and women. The resistance of gravity makes you stronger.
Okay, we can stop right there. Go ahead. Sampson became what?
The complete opposite of that.
Okay, Sampson became the complete opposite of that. Now, basically, what he was describing was the Sampson's DNA, Sampson ancestors, the 2017 Sampson, that bloodline lead all the way back to Christ or AD when he was Sampson for real, and he was supposed to practice these laws all the way up until today's time. So back then, it was stay away from intoxicating liquors, but basically what it's telling him now is don't drink too much. You know what I'm saying? Don't get blasted out of your mind. It's cool to get buzzed, but don't be out here fucked up to where you operate fucked up. And don't be hanging around these dead-minded people, because they rob you of your strength. They make you weaker. Because if you got 5 niggas talking this way and you think another way, by the time the end of the night, you're going to be thinking the way the 5 niggas talk. You see what I'm saying? And the resistance of that makes you stronger. And not only the physical strength, it's the etherical strength. It's the actual spiritual strength. It's the metaphysical strength. The ability to withstand the bullshit-ass suggestions. And that was the Delilah story. She suggested the hell out of Sampson to tell her his secret. And over time, Sampson lost because of the suggestion, of the amount of suggestion, the consistency of the suggestion. He said, fuck it, I'm going to tell her, when he should have acted like each day was the first day. Bitch, hell no. Hell no. But no, he told her, and she got to get his ass popped off. Now, even though he seen that she was trying to trick his ass into some bullshit, the perception that he had and the illusion that she performed over his eyes was like, oh, man, she just was tripping. But he actually ignored the fact that she just showed him that if you tell me your secret, I'm going to get your ass popped off. So even though he's seen that under the drunken, weakened, kicking it with niggas listening to their bullshit, he forgot the fact she tried to get him popped off. So then again, he said, fuck it, I'm going to tell her. Then that's when he woke up, locked the fuck up. They popped his ass off. Now he locked up in jail. And Christ, we're back in AD time, he had the handcuffs on in a cellar somewhere. And then they had his ass pent up against the 2 pillars. In today's time, that's the nigga in the courtroom. So it's the same shit, you know what I'm saying? And he's trying to bring the whole courtroom down because he's like, fuck it. That's just some extra added adjectives to the story. Basically meaning he got his strength back, but he couldn't see. He was still blind. That's why they said blindfolded. He was blindfolded. He couldn't see. He didn't see. They ain't talking about the 2 eyes. I'm talking about the 3rd. So even though he did got his strength back, meaning God granted him a little mercy and said, look, Joe, I'm going to stand my hand out to you. I'm going to help you out. But the problem is you still need that knowledge. And if you ain't seeking that on your own, you ain't going to never get that blindfold off. So what good is your knowledge if you blind? The only thing that'll lead you to is strength, and blindness is death, which what he did in the story. He crushed the motherfucking pillars and killed himself with everybody else. Because lack of understanding.
It's like what Brother Supreme says over there on Blog Talk. You give someone can get a little bit of knowledge, and that can cause their complete destruction. Samson was able to hold his strength, still have his strength. However, he didn't have the third eye, the critical thinking to see how to use that. So in the end, he ended up using the little strength he had to destroy himself. And by abusing stuff such as alcohol and drugs and bad relationships with your boys, you know what I'm saying? That causes a mental death or causes a physical death faster than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, they took his tool. They gave him Heru. They gave Heru the ability to go to war with the self, meaning the warrior, the strength, the soldier mode, but they took his tool, his ability to process the information in his mind and regurgitate it to the minds of the other people. So they took that, the Tahachi, the Tor, or whatever they call it, the bird with the feather of Ra, you know, that hieroglyph. They took that out and left him with his Heru, his warrior mode. So he was running reckless. Wow. All right, keep going. So now we at the stage where, you know, I was basically explaining his DNA, who he was, all the way back to his tribe, and how it lead up to today. And the fact that we don't know who the fuck, what tribe we from, we have no recollection of how we supposed to move. Because each one of us, as a whole, each one of us move different. We from a different tribe. Things that work for you don't work for me. Things that work for me don't work for you. So that we lost and mixed up, we don't know what the fuck going on. So the African can come from Africa and look at you and say, "Oh, you from the tribe of Sudan," and you wondering in your mind, "Well, what do that mean?" And they laughing because they know if they tell you, we might connect you back. So they don't, you know, they got the Africans over here looking at us like they white and we black type shit. Trust me, I think they need to wake up from that. You know, because they want what we got. First, we over there, they give us to the slave masters because they wanted what we got. So our ass over here fucked up, and now they want to come over here and take what we got. I don't get it. It's like a little badass brother, always want what you got. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, slow the fuck down, learn from what I'm doing, and go get your own. Go ahead, you read the next.
Yeah. Well, before I do that, I just wanted to say we had knowledge of stuff even before those Bible stories and Africa, because I mean, if the knowledge adds up, we are the creators of the universe. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing that we're lucky that we still have that innate knowledge of the fact that we are the gods and goddesses here right now. You know, well, we need to have do some inquiry, knowledge of self before we can get back and also build off of where we need to be. And then we're going to start here.
Right. Well, that's what we're doing now. You know, they trying to shine the light. You know what I'm saying? With Willie Lynch, the Willie Lynch letter, he was stating that maybe we can put this situation in a position where it turned on its own axle. Meaning is that it'll rotate on its own. We can step back. We ain't got to mess with them. They kill each other, you know, destroy each other. And in that, hopefully, not to only the light will not be there, but we need to extinguish the light. When he said extinguish the light, see, they get up into this J. Edgar Hoover's metaphysical talk, and you trying to figure out what the fuck do this speech have to do with the metaphysical? What the fuck do J. Edgar Hoover talking about? We need to start the rise of a black messiah. Why is he talking like this? Because that's the bottom fucking line. They don't give a fuck about that political shit. They don't give a fuck about all that, you know, you running out here with a gun talking about the power. They give a fuck about the black man who raised up in his spirituality and remember who the fuck he is, because he is the creator and he will start creating again. And that's what we're doing now. We're taking the same terms like Carbo said, but we're going as far back as we remember, using that and adding that up to the 2017, which puts us in the beginning of time. Because we're taking the last time we know of and putting it in the present time, will put us back in the beginning of time. So we are in the beginning because we create. Ain't nobody never heard of Sampson and Delilah. Ain't nobody never heard of the Avatar, Sampson Avatar, the Delilah Avatar, the Jezebel Avatar. You ain't never heard of that. So right now we creating, and God is not looking for imitation. He wants to see a creator, and young creators. He do not want to see you regurgitate old shit to new people. That ain't what he's looking for right now. So they say you crazy, folks. God said let him keep saying that. They say you crazy, Carbo. God said let him keep saying that. You know why? Because now he got the angels of God, what they call the angels, to show the revelations of what these crazy ass niggas talking about. So if you ever indulge in the Godspeed, all you have to do is give it an honest heart. Try to read it. Try to understand. We even talk to you. We give you our phone number, which other niggas don't do. And all you had to do is ask a question. We'll explain gently and softly to where you understand. And then watch you see this shit. Or you can dip in and be like, fuck these niggas like they always do, and you still gonna see it.
Right.
It doesn't matter. This is real. This is real. Everybody sees Sampson. Everybody sees Delilah walking in the motherfucking currency stand or the chicken wing store with her nails did, her hair did and shit, but a mouth loud as hell. She ratchet in the motherfucker, and her clothes was straight bogus. You know what I'm saying? And she thinking because she got these chili clothes ass on and these motherfucking Hermes boots and shit that she all out of whack and her attitude is shitty like this covered up for us. And Sampson in the half drunk, don't run shit. He just following her because she got the check and the money and she turned around like, nigga, what the fuck you want? And while she on the phone talking to him, her buddy, and he just sitting there like, scratching this motherfucking ball, give me 4 chicken wings. And we see this shit. We see Mason, the nigga who out here who are concerned with the youth. All he want to do is get pussy and ride around and get money and try to talk to the hoes. We know that motherfucker. We know Sahu, the little wild motherfucker. That's how he killing motherfuckers. Matter of fact, Sahu shot Mason on Facebook. Mason was doing the damn taping, and Sahu ran up on his ass and blasted him. This shit is real. Real. And so what I'm giving you is an avatar, meaning this is a damn program. These ain't who the fuck he is. Too many of them acting the same way. You see what I'm saying? These are programs. There's too many Delilahs in Walmart. You see this crazy ass shit. There's too many Masons riding around in the strip club. You see this shit. You see too many Sampson, the drunk ass uncle who can't get it right. He's just hanging on to life, walking around, asking you for money. These are avatars because if I go to this neighborhood and I go to the next neighborhood, it's the same nigga, just a different face.
And it's so crazy that that's one of the not main reasons, but one of the reasons why I wanted to step away from the wilderness in North America and move away. You know, and just I was sick of seeing all that shit like constantly, man. Like I can do my hermit mode and stay at home and do what I gotta do, but I still gotta go out in the world and whatnot. But I was sick of seeing that shit. And the funny thing is, it's so prevalent. Motherfucker, the world wants to see what the black man and woman are doing because they want to take their cues from us. That they're picking up some of our bad tendencies, and I'm starting to see these goddamn fucking avatars running around here in fucking Asia. You know?
Influence. The black man influence. The beginning. God. They like, look at God. Look at God. Oh, we gonna act like God. Look at God. That's how they think. We don't even know it. They know the black Buddha. They know the black Madonna. The priests sit there and pray to him behind closed doors, the black woman and the black baby. You see what I'm saying? They know this, but when they look at us, they're like, why you don't know this? Oh, $50 for these pads, $150 for the hat. There's knowing she's supposed to give it to you for free, but if you don't ask for it for free, she ain't gonna give it to you. And they laugh. The black man don't know, so they say, some dumb goy. Some dumb goy. He looking for the cookie maker. He looking like, nigga, you is the cookie maker. Come on, man. They tell you this shit all day. All day. But see, the movies was innocent then, and they gave a story. They had to get away from that because J. Edgar Hoover like, hold the fuck up. But right, we can't do this. Finish reading, Carbo. We gotta keep it contained.
I know. I'm just worked up right now, and I got to say this. I'll get back on the list. But
go ahead.
The thing is, like, no, wait, hold on. The whole
come on.
Say that we are put to sleep as a nation. We are Sampson. We are put to sleep because we put ourselves to sleep. Regardless of what the white man or anybody does, we gave them the power so they can so we can work hard and want to change shit in ourselves, you know? So we can't really blame them because we put them in that situation to make us stronger, you know, to put gravity on us to get stronger. But now is the time. We have all the tools out here. We have hundreds of videos out there with the lid. We have like 60, 70 broadcasts of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So don't act like there's not stuff out there. You know? Because I take it as disrespect that people don't want to build not with me and Paul personally, ego, but like with our information. That's your information. Y'all want to disregard it and not even, you know, use it, still complain and shit. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Paul. I got
It's cool. It's cool. All you basically saying is, man, that somebody had to create it. Somebody had to sacrifice their life to create it. I said fuck the strip club. You said fuck the strip club. We said fuck the travelers trying to find the pictures, the holes, and the rims, and the clothes. And we're going to get on this knowledge and make it work. We're going to create some shit. So I'm not going to put my red shoes with my red hat. I'm going to put this motherfucking feather white pen to this black and white paper. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to color coordinate that way. And we choose to do it. I could have been kicking it with the hoes and pimping and all this wild shit. No, I choose to sacrifice my life under the Jesus. Like I give my life, my choice that I can make to actually be out here feeding my lower gratification to feed the higher gratification. But first, I got to create. So let's create something that people can see now. The church ain't cutting it. The average conversations from a man to a child ain't cutting it, man. Ain't nothing in them streets. The nigga ain't trying to hear that. What the fuck do that mean? Help me visually, hieroglyphically see what the fuck you said. Hey, son, ain't nothing in them streets for you. No, motherfucker, ride me downtown. Show me the fucking hood. Explain stuff to me. But see, the father don't have no knowledge, so how can he teach the child? When he ride past town, who? He don't know what the fuck to say. He just say, you don't want to be like him. Hell no, show me his life. Show me what's going to happen. Tell me the hieroglyph. They little the motherfucker right there. Yeah, he's this and that right now. Now, I bet you got 3 or 4 cases. Now he's getting older. Now he's 21 years old. Now he's starting to want to have a wife. Now he's 30. He want a house, but his credit fucked up. His record amount long. Now what he going to do? Now he's 28, 29, 35 years old. He want to settle back, but he can't. So now he got to sit back broke as hell. He didn't know that when he first started, why he out here shooting that nigga selling drugs. He don't know that right now. See, why you showing this little nigga this hieroglyph, he thinking. So when he go grab that pack, he thinking about himself, 35 years old. He's like, hell no, I can't watch the same movie twice and trick myself like this is the first time I've seen it. You know why? Because the father showed him the movie when they was riding in the car. So next time when the movie come on and he got the crack in his hand and the pistol getting handed to him, what you think he gonna do? Oh, I know how this go, and he gone. Yeah. My bad. Come on, Carbo. We do this for real. We do this for real.
We got this. All right, back to Sampson's story and Delilah. Sampson's grandfather, who taught total abstinence from all.
Do right by everybody. Find out more at Tillamook.com.
Recorded live.
Yo, this your boy Pomatic with your boy K Blau, Hood X, Godspeed. Tonight's show is brought to you by Godspeed.com and HoodX.com. And tonight we're going to talk about the city of Israel on Smith Day. And the city of Israel is based on the current events and things that's going on in our neighborhood. And pretty much, like, you want to add on before we kick it off?
I just need a second to bring this up. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'll start.
Okay.
It's coming though. Yeah.
Okay, but like I was saying, you're talking about.
Go ahead.
Talking about current events, things that's going on in neighborhoods, why people doing the things they're doing, what may we be able to do about people doing the things they're doing, and how can we overcome it? But first, I just like to brush y'all up on avatars. You know, the avatars are deity possession, just as well as to give examples like the zodiac. You know, and I'm gonna bring up the avatars because it'll familiarize you with these terms we're using, like Sahu, Delilah avatar, and these are like deity possessions or programs, AI programs, meaning it's artificial. And the counterpart to that is like your zodiac, which is natural, you know, your natural law of tendencies. But these are different, you know, these are different. These are actual programs. Like if you're a water sign, you know, your law of nature would be tend to go against the grain or talk to people with emotions or be like a child. And it's not the fact that you do this on purpose, but you're locked into that, you know what I'm saying? You're locked into that realm. You're not having nobody, no reflection, no mirror, no one to tell you, look, this is what it look like to me. It might not look like it to you because we thinking everybody thinking the same thoughts. So as an avatar, but this is not a natural. From the zodiac, it's artificial. It's made by Zar, which we call the white man or the powers that be, that they give you AI, artificial programs, or we call it artificial zodiacs, just a way to act. And once you're engulfed in this, it's hard for you to know that because no one tells you, you know, or so many people neighbor that you're unaware of, and by you being unaware of, it's hard to come up out of it because you're not aware that you're actually in it. You ready with the audio?
What do you think?
Yeah, I said you ready with the audio? You good on your
I'm tired because I'm ready to line up.
Don't worry about it.
You keep it going.
I'm finna read.
Just don't get going.
I'm finna read from an expert from the city of Israel. Once I'm gonna pull it up, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it to you, Blah, but I'm gonna share it in the chat room so whoever feels they want to see it, like in person, they can see it. I want to start finding my damn stuff. I hear something in the background. Somebody kind of got background noise.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the audio going on here.
Oh, that's you? Okay. Yeah, but like I was saying, I was going to read, and it's based, till I find it, I'm going to just share a little more information with you. Based on the fact that there are programs that's going on in the neighborhood, there are avatars that's set forth in the hood, there are a means or a way that we're living, you know what I'm saying, in the hood, and just the fact that they call it the hood, or like around here they call it Chirac, that speaks for itself, and pretty much dealing with like dead-minded brothers and sisters, or lower-minded brothers and sisters that's void of knowledge.
I think we're good. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think we're good.
Okay, you think we cool? All right. Well, I'm trying to find the writings, and I'm gonna share it to you in the chat room, and maybe you can add on to something till I find it.
I just want to share. I got some stats. Actually, I'm gonna share some stats about the city of Chicago, and I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. I can read. The murder rate has risen in the city of Chicago. I'm gonna drop this link right here so people can see the stats. So if you follow us on the Godspeed page, you can see the visual on there, which I'm bringing up on the screen right now. It basically reads that the murder rate has risen tremendously, and it's projected to almost be about 3 times the amount it was last year. I'm bringing it up on the screen here. I just want to make sure I'm reading this right. Murder rates rose in a quarter of the nation's 100 cities. In Chicago last year, it was 500 and where's it go? We've risen. It's projected to be about 700 murders. Last year in 2015, it was about 500 murders. We've reached that just in 9 months. So by the end of the year, it's projected to be about 700, 750 murders, which is going to top 2015. And nationwide, nearly 6,700 homicides were reported in the 100 largest cities in 2015, about 950 more than 2014. About half the rise, 480 of the 950 occurred in 7 cities. The poverty rate in these 7 cities is higher than the national average. So just in Cleveland, Milwaukee, Baltimore, Chicago, Houston, Nashville, and Washington, that poverty rate is bigger than the whole nation combined, those cities alone. They collected 30 years of homicide data, FBI for 2014. Crime rate has also gone up. Chicago had the most homicides, 488 and 215. It was 352 murders in New York City, 3 times as many people. Baltimore had a large increase, had 133 more people killed in 2015 than in 2014. St. Louis had about 59 homicides per 100,000 residents.
All right, hold on, B. I don't mean to cut you off. That shit is unbearable. You mean, wait a minute. These are all predominantly black neighborhoods that he's talking about. And we don't, if you combine that all, it's more of us dying over here, the whole total, than you can have 2 or 3 wars and this ain't going to even happen. And it's like like no one's seeing this. You know what I'm saying? It's like isolated little incidences. But that's a lot of numbers, B. That's more than the actual war itself, you know. And they set up our neighborhoods, you know, it's like a rat trap. You know, you take all the jobs out of the neighborhoods, you put them way far, you know what I'm saying? Then you put drugs in the neighborhood with guns. And then you give a culture of death through the music. You know, you get a shorty that's inspired to do whatever, an idol or something to look at, something on the beat. And then after that, you break up the families, you know what I'm saying? And due to the fact that the woman, you know, is that you can't have a whole bunch of homeless women out here, so it's gonna look real crazy, you know. If they ask for what a father, then they're gonna realize they're locking them up and they're killing them, plus to be killing each other. So what they do is they give you the Section 8 to cover that up. So like the government kind of help, but like we know we killing your brother, your man. We know we destroying them, but we're gonna give you this little bit right here to help you, you know, to keep going and keep moving. Meanwhile, while we destroy them, so it won't be so obvious. You know, you'll see a lot of women in the society, a lot of black women going to church, a lot of black women going to work, a lot of black women moving around in societies from 7 to 3 o'clock. You know, these periods of the hour of work or whatever they do, but you rarely see a black male. And if he is, he's in the passenger seat. You know what I'm saying? Or he ain't driving at all. He was pretty much walking. But you see a lot of our grandfathers out here, drunks, alcoholics, and begging. You know what I'm saying? So they got a couple of things in place to make it look real, you know, savvy, you know what I'm saying, like Orion say. But I'm gonna read. You want to add on B before I read the city of Israel? We're gonna take it from there.
I just want to under the concept of the District of Columbia, which is Washington D.C. You know what I'm saying? The concept of Columbia was it was a poetic term of what the concept of what the white man understood back then was what Columbus had did. You know what I'm saying? For you know, he was just being out discovering, and you know, Columbus was a huge archetype for, you know, George Washington and the Masons and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The people that was over here, they referred to Columbia. He was almost like a mythological being to, you know, the founders of America. So like when they referred to Columbia, they was referring to the land of America in a mythological sense. And that's what, when we refer to the city of Israel, it's kind of the same concept. It's like, it's a mythological, how would you explain it?
Well, we call ourselves the children of Israel, or the holy city. But the way I explain it is the city of is/real is this shit real? Is this stuff I'm actually seeing real? So it's like, is real? Like, is this shit real? So I break it apart. And when you separate the people, you say I'm separating the lingo. So instead of Israel, one word, body of God, it's 2 words, is and real. Meaning, is this shit I'm seeing real? That's why I put it like that. Because half the stuff we see this can't be real. The way people acting and the things they're doing, this can't be real. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got, first of all, you got give you an example. Keep Chief cousin, Blood Money. He making videos and everything, talking about, you know, he ruthless, but he's next in line. So by him being next in line, he really talking, you know, he really feeling himself. So he signed a record deal. Keep Chief got him on, he signed a record deal. He's still in the hood now. He didn't leave. All he did was went to the office to sign the papers. Probably did it online. We never know. And then, you know, they finna get him with the bread and everything. So he out there super locked into the Sahu/Mason avatar. Sahu meaning is the rough to ruthless warrior, uncontrolled, unchecked nature he had prior to getting the money. He finna go into getting the females and going to the strip clubs and being able to say nah, 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 nah. Now right before he said nah, 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 somebody blew his head off.
Oh, the nigga you talking about?
Yeah, Blood Money, Keep Chief cousin, the one next in line.
Okay, you gotta forgive me. I'm kind of behind.
But don't worry, you know, it's just for me to give them a glimpse of how it looks.
How does this pertain to the city of Israel? Now line that up.
Okay, because in another neighborhood, in the perfect neighborhood, or in the suburban belt, that neighborhood, they would have supported them. They would have put them on. They would have like, yeah, we doing this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, they wouldn't have killed him. They would have supported him. He would have signed the deal. He would have still been living. He's been rapping now. But when you got the city of Israel, it's Judah, the one that betrayed Jesus type thing going on. The one that's like, you know, I'm gonna turn you in. You know, you got the me against my brother thing. You know, I'm gonna get mine. You got to get yours. Every man for himself. Plus, this chap with the jealousy. That's what makes it. So all they need is a reason. Remember, it's already jealousy because we thirsty, we hungry. You know, there's nothing around here. We won't. But the natural living without the media helping and all that bullshit is that we'll still have love for each other back like we was in the 60s and 70s. Even though we knew we didn't have much, we had a basic underlying love for each other, which helps everything flow naturally in synchronicity. And I'm going to say this real quick before I forget what I'm going to tell you, that if you notice, black people can move in synchronicity without stop signs and street lights. The street lights and the stop signs is for the Caucasian. You see what I'm saying? The rules and regulations is for the Caucasian. We just have to fall up into it. So to go back to what I was saying is that the way this relates to it, my brother would have made it, he would have survived, he would have kept going, you know what I'm saying? He would have prevailed. But due to the media where they show us their play, their on top of the actual act of jealousy, there's no love at all. So we're going to kill each other, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, who do you think he is? Fuck dude, I'm mad at him, you know what I'm saying? All I need is a reason. Now we don't need a reason. You know, they didn't got that worse where you don't even need a reason to kill a brother. You just don't like him. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. So how did we get like this?
Well, it's a lot of ways. It's not one way to fix it because it's a billion ways it's been broken. So we got like this through slow, gradual. Like if you notice, in the 60s or 70s, we didn't have TV. We didn't have, like, the only time you get to see somebody famous was on Jet. And that's a little book and you get to see that. So it didn't feed you.
I remember Jet magazine.
Right, you didn't know you was
my mama used to say that.
You ain't know you was broke till you looked at Eddie Murphy crib, you know, but it was just a little taste. It was in a little book and you put the book down and you go back and you look at your life, the sun shining, the bird chirping, you got a place to stay, you got food on your table, you cool. And the neighbor feel the same way. You know, we got a car, we cool, you know what I'm saying? But as the internet came along, they was able to display more of that Eddie Murphy crib, more of Prince crib, more of this MTV cribs. So right there, that's the beginning of the hunger, the want, the extra want, and the undeserving of what you got, the unappreciativeness of what you already got. So that's how it started off. You know, it's like, okay, man, I'm seeing this, I want this. So you look around at your crib, you look around at your life, like, this ain't shit. You know, you're always supposed to strive for more, but it ain't supposed to be striving with a depressed feeling. You're supposed to be humble and peaceful where you at, be, and everything will come to you. So when you be and peaceful and humble where you at, and you still got the idea of striving forward, it's a different, movement. It's a different feeling. It's more powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So so you saying they feeding the lower nations through the materialism and the shit on TV, and that.
Well, that's how it started. That's
really ignorant.
Well, first that's how it started. So you had the Jet magazine, and as time went on, you start getting they had to go incorporate the music, because the music back then was about love. So that was too much of building families, you know what I'm saying? So as time went on, they found rap. Rap came along on its own, but then they seen a way to incorporate themselves in the rap under the act of the secret relationship between the nigga and the Jew, you know what I'm saying? So they knew our language, they knew who we were, they knew our style, so they incorporated. And then they said,
right, I read a long time ago that they was investing, they was trying to put out rap music to invest in the prison, to make the prison system, they was locking niggas up to fund. How it go?
It's like this. It didn't start off like that. It didn't always start off with them to lock niggas up. It started off as it's a way to get some money. So that's how the brothers you seen came up, was undiscriminately can kick their flow. Eric B. and Rakim can kick his flow. Nas can kick his flow because it was about the bread, and we love that type of music. So it was like we getting the money. So that's why we was naturally kicking the rhythm of the earth, the God body, not the bastard language. We was kicking that shit to where actually Nas got owned by a daughter of one of the Jews. Heard him say, what was that line? He called it in Jesus in hell or something.
Something about
No, I robbed Jesus in hell. And she liked it that to where she told her daddy and he put him on. You see what I'm saying? So he was still kicking the God body. They had no control over that. They just wanted to know who was going to get them paid. So once they started getting paid, and once they started, the raps, the positive raps start going, the public enemies start going, they start looking around, you know what I'm saying, and they already invested in private prisons and stuff, but the prisons weren't getting filled. So they started thinking, they sat at the round table and they said, you know what, we can create a culture and create it to our own advantage to where we get paid off that culture. And he said, Saya, what do you mean? Create a culture and you're going to get paid off the culture. Well, if we round Jordans to be the best and we put them up there, we own that, so we getting paid right there. If we do the starter culture and make that, advertise that, we own that, so we get paid like that. We'll tell them what to wear and we'll sell it to them. And if you want to sell your skinny jeans, then we're going to tell them what to wear and we're going to sell it to them. How you going to do that? Well, we're going to give it to the most popular dude. And for the right price, if you want your checks, you're going to put them on. But what about Dave Chappelle? I'll get back to you on that. Let's keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So it's gradual. It ain't nothing fast. It's gradual. I'm going to show you this. You're going to get shocked. The shock factor. That's what they got to get past. I mean, somebody got a dress on. Young Thug got a dress on. That's the shock factor. See, we're going into the faggotry stage now. We're going into the defeminization of man, and going into and that's when it's like, so we got Young Thug. He got the dress on. That's the shock. What the fuck is this? What boom, boom. All right, keep it going. A little bit of this, say a little bit of this. Play Empire. Empire was 3 dogs. What the hell is this? Keep it going. You see what I'm saying? So they weaving it in, and as time go on, you become unconsciously receptive to it. There's nothing no more, So now you got these little rappers out here, back in the day, if we dress like this, we'd be called sissies. But some type of way, it's not like that no more. You see how they use the culture to breed their influence. So now that's just, they laugh, and that's something to do. But this culture of death, they say, oh, man, the murder rate's going down, side. What should we do? I got it. Come out with an NWA movie. Well, what that's going to do? That's like, fuck the police. Yeah, we want to start a race war while we at it. So you do that. Come out with NWA. All right, get that pump. First thing, but first, before you make NWA, see, they time travel. Make Django. So with Django, yeah, make a nigga. Nicky Tarantino, make a nigga win it. That's going to hype the niggas up. Oh, shit, okay, yeah, because they kind of sleeping passive right now. So make the niggas win it. Once we make the niggas win it, the police ain't going, well, wait a minute. So this is a race war. Yeah, but we still got to fill the penitentiary. So you got to keep popping. Who else got the most murders? This little ooh-ah song. You got that. You got Rick Ross with the drugs flowing. You got, what about the hip-hop rappers, the ones that still positive? We got to make it look real in the reality in the hood. They can't be 2 hours where we'll get one slot. In the first slot, Lupe Fiasco, and that's Kendrick Lamar. So we just, they can't be 3 of them. First, it was common sense. It can't be just going to be one. Okay, cool. We got that one slot for the God bodies. And what about all these other cats? Whoever got the most ruthless is killing, murder, death, kill music. We watch the murder rate go up, our penitentiary rate go up, we invest more money in them. Simple as that. So the one that had Keith Chief was like, wait a minute, he invested in a dude to do the same thing, but Keith Chief kept getting locked up, and he's like, he had liability, so he let him go. He's too Sahu. So I'm going to read from the metal next, though. I'm going to take it back to the ancients when we get this word Sahu, because I want to explain Sahu. He the little bad motherfucker in the neighborhood. In all y'all families that's always locked up, killing motherfucker. You know who I'm talking about. Parents say don't give a flying fuck about nothing. That's him. And I'm going to tell you, there's energy dynamics. And I'm reading from chapter 6, the 3 types of men. And you got, first, you got Sahu man. He in the 10th spirit, his energy dynamic is 10th is Gale, which is earth, tension, seeking happiness. I mean, he always seeking self-joy, self-pleasure, something to make him feel good, all the time. There's nothing wrong with that, but all the time. All right, identity, 9th, I said, person. Identify himself with his person, his ego, who he think he is, how they program him to be through his storm force. Then 8th spirit, so back, concrete and intellect, meaning is what he think he know, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and concrete objects like money, tangible items, cars, clothes, rims, hoes. In case 7, Hekaru, he accomplished this bullshit through his imagination, which is his R6, what he's looking at on TV, NWA, what else movie out loud? Come on, keep it. There's plenty of them out there. New Jack City, Scarface, you know what I'm saying? You see yourself as that Scarface, or one of the rappers, and This is his imagination. This is how he accomplishing his goal through imagining himself as being one of the King Don Dada with all the
they on the TV, right? The new programs that they create on the TV.
Right, that's his imagination, but he actually believed it, so he don't see the negative tendencies. Seth Smith or Azazel that's playing with him, that's can just catch him off at any moment. He don't see this, so he's moving naturally, he's moving calmly. The person who's thinking is the most nervous looking because he can see all this bullshit. He's like, damn, you sitting here with a pack of drugs, a Glock 17. The police is coming up the street. This is how I look to a conscious person. And you're like, okay, well, what you finna do? And he's like, oh shit, I'm getting on bills. Your pants sagging, nigga, you gonna get out and run. You gonna leave your new car you just bought here with the rim, you gonna get out this car and run and leave all that shit in here, or you gonna take it with you. You see what I'm saying? You're not even fucking thinking. So he's most calm. That's the strange part, nigga. Why is you so calm in this madness? I mean, don't you don't see that. You know what I'm saying? So 7, desire, his desire, what you want, the want. The videos, they always got to keep the videos with the girls with the big booty. So that's his desire. That's what he wants. But, the women ain't going these days if you ain't got that paper, or you ain't got on the new Jordans, or you ain't got on the Robinson jeans, you know what I'm saying, or True Religion, which we speak as a True Religion, But that's a little bit from that. I might read a little bit more. If you want to add on, I can go on further.
Well, I'm just trying to tie the mythological. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to tie it in, like, you know what I'm saying? If the outsider listening in, like, if I never heard this before, I'm saying I see city Israel, I'm gonna be thinking like Israel, like overseas, like Israel. You see what I'm saying? And I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? How does that tie into you know what I'm saying, what I'm experiencing on a day-to-day basis in Chicago? You know what I'm saying? How do that tie in?
We from the Holy City. We people of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? They brought us over here, the strongest, most powerful. They tricked us on people, the ones that's over there, that's going through bullshit now, sent us over here. So it was already Godbodies and queens and kings. You know what I'm saying? That's why Israel come from, the Holy City. That's what we call it. But we not over there in Israel with the bootlegs or the AIs. We over here in America, and the shit we live in this city is real. It's the children of God, but it's separated, so it's called Israel. It's not Israel, the whole word. It's is-real, meaning is this shit real? I mean, do you look around, the cartoon niggas? Do you see Delilah? Do you see the one sitting there popping the gum loud as hell on the phone, very disrespectful, got the line held up like a motherfucker because she don't really care or even sympathetic to the patience and time and whatever the person behind it got to do? You see that in the shorty shit. These are avatars, these are programs, but these, the spiritual aspect of it is that all the person has to do is wake up and realize that this ain't them and it's only cracking with the magical powers. I'm going to read from the City of Israel script. I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a glimpse of how it sounds if they're just tuning in. All right, this from Godspeed writings. Good as City of Israel. Black crows hovered over the land, along with great clouds mixed with patches of clear blue skies. There seemed to be somewhat of a haze in the air. It was the month of January, but the temperature was 90 degrees. For the last 3 years, it had been unseasonably warm. Pop cameras laced the landscape upper stratosphere. As the GN sent whispers of money, as the GN sent whispers of murders, and last night's game win, along with greetings of compliments on the type of shoes being worn, the police raced to and fro. The people seemed to be rushed to no destination. The city was made of stone. The trees were endangered species, where the grass fought for space to grow, while the jets flew 100 miles high, spraying titanium, barium, aluminum chemical, changing the weather pattern and lowering the physical vibration of the body more. Changing the weather pattern and lowering the physical vibration of the body, making you more vulnerable to suggestions on a subliminal level. I'm going to read that again. While those jets flew high, spraying chemtrails and lowering the physical vibration of the body, which is why everybody getting sick, making you more vulnerable to suggestions on a subliminal level, meaning if they're getting you ready for Christmas, all they have to do is say, Santa Claus, and you cracking this on and cracking you ready.
Right.
You're weak, you're more earthy, you're weak, you're more earthy. into your earthly mode. You're weak. So a suggestion is more easy to perform, either through the elk towers or shadow walkers or chemtrails, antenna and airways, like I always say, you got a computer on one side and a router on the other. What's in the middle? All the information. So that all the information got to be traveling through your head to get to this router, to this computer. It's just what thoughts you're going to pull in. So they mess with your magnetic choice, as in what would you pull, where did you pull them, and you thinking in natural thoughts. So if you're a negative person, you put a negative thoughts, you thinking these are your thoughts, you're doing negative shit. You're a positive person, you put a positive thoughts, you know these are your thoughts, you're doing positive shit. As white lines fall, they spread like a blanket over the atmosphere, forming white clouds, void of form. Y'all know that. When you see them planes, please look up, because I know a lot of y'all don't. Give it about 3 or 4 days, it's going to be cloudy, looking like London fog over here, and that's been going on for a minute, which blot out the sun. Afterwards, either rain, snow, or it got cold in the days to come. The funny part that no one noticed, who looks up nowadays? The police perform security checks on the local. There's still a church on every other corner, mixed in with liquor stores and drug spots, all a half a mile apart by design. I'm going to go over there. There's still the church, or just ride down your neighborhood. On every other corner, mixed in with liquor stores with Arabs in it. And this was all by design. This ain't just so happened. You know what I'm saying? The white man don't want to deal with you no more, so he put the Arabs in there. And these the goons that's over there killing and shooting. And that's how he feels to deal with us. He got to put some fucking soldiers over here behind bulletproof glass. You understand the makeup that they don't have no fucks about you, get 2 fucks about you. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. That's to the church. Okay, all this was by design. There were cars that resembled big wheels, raced in and out of traffic, spilling sounds of murder, drugs, money, clubs within the hours of 1 and 8. Now, niggas who don't wake up till like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So it'd be peaceful around that time. But watch when 1 o'clock is in the summertime, the sun starts to beam a little harder. You know what I'm saying? That Kundalini start rising, that reptilian start coming in. And now you got music from 1 to 8 o'clock. That's when it's just in the heat of the moment. At that time, all the niggas that was up early pumping music, they got locked up, and a couple of them got shot, so it gets quiet a little bit, but it's still going into the night. Also known as the hour of Sebek, a.k.a. the dawn of the underworld, locked in the H spirit, meaning the suggestion, Smithful Rose. Playtime, let the games begin, is Friday, which is today. The human baby is born without an education. Therefore, man possesses the power by controlling the educational training of the young generation greatly to modify the evolutionary course of a civilization. Basically meaning, if I can control your education, what goes into your mind, I can control your civilization through all time. So you ask your brother, my little mama say, Daddy, what should I do? I said, find the one that's reading. She said, why should I find the one that's reading? Because that means he's searching. By him reading, he's looking, he's searching. He's not just accepting the information that they're giving him. It's just not that. Like, if you ever been around some people or been out somewhere and you hear people talk, all you hear is either 1, the radio, 2, the TV. So I can close my eyes and watch the TV just like that. Because all they're doing is pumping the information that those 2 sources gave them. They're not searching, they're just receiving. So, a land taken over by foreigners, so damn Arabs. The children lost their culture. The torchbearers lost their life. The city moved backwards. Know that the homes, churches, and schools of one generation will predetermine the character trend of the succeeding generation. Now, we got a big-ass gap. Our fathers don't know what the hell we talking about. We don't know what the hell our fathers talking about. You see what I'm saying? So we already know how that goes. What's wrong with the kids these days? They ask only not to reflect on what happened yesterday. You see what I'm saying? We ain't thinking about how we raised them. That's the problem with Sahu. That's the problem with the city. Is the black man has been obliviated. He's gone. That's the responsibility of the woman to uphold it till the black man wake the fuck up and come back to life. But what she's doing is just letting all her frustrations out around her. Shorty's walking around, cussing, chewing gum, smoking cigarettes, weed, keep dumping in the man is wild. So as this child grow up, from whatever it is to 9, 10, 11, 12, he's ready. Now he's in the world. He's halfway scared. He halfway got God in him. He don't know which way to go because he's trying to follow and find something. So, like we know how the cities look, negativity prevails. You ain't doing your thing unless you're a killer. So he's trying to like, I can't kill because he's still with God. Nigga hit him in his mouth. He said, okay. He hit through in his mouth. The nigga stabbed him. He said, okay. He stabbed him. You know what I'm saying? So he's getting more. He's blocking God out of his mind as time goes on because he don't understand what's going on. They're raping a nigga mental. You know what I'm saying? They got him like Jesus on the cross. And he's a shorty, he's only 17, trying to figure it out. He don't really want to hurt nobody, but you see what I'm saying? He's a land of wolves. What is he going to do? So now they're turning him out. He got no choice, you know. So this is what, the women are letting go. Like this is what happened. And if you want to bring it back, let's go back to the boy that was in Boston. I think he was fighting, marching out there. He wasn't fighting, he was marching. His mama came out and beat him upside his head, and then they made her popular for doing that. If he's trying to stand for something positive, why would you whoop his ass? So you say, no, nigga, bow your ass down, submit, be passive. Say, master, yes sir, no sir, no sir, go cut your hair. All right, we don't keep going, let me stop. All right, step up the language barrier. Okay, all right. What's wrong with these kids today? They ask, only not to reflect on what happened yesterday. Step broke the language barrier of the people. He knew that that language ensures an expansion of civilized thinking and planning, causing a great need to further linguistic development to validate the expression of a higher thought. How can you fight an enemy you can't even speak of? That's why me and Blau say Asian Smith. We all know it's black people. We just tune our own like motherfucking college and school shit. You know goddamn well there's some bullshit going on in our world, in the hoods. The synchronicity fucked up. You see the white man lollygagging, hopping, skipping along the way. He'll have a car accident, got a new car the next day. Let that shit happen to you. They barely want to even give you some bread. And we all see this type of shit, you know what I'm saying? But we don't know what it is. How we gonna say it? So the church people say the devil. But when you say that, you can't get the green man with the horns out your mouth. So you're like, well, I don't see him. That can't be real. Ain't nobody speaking about this because the forces that be can't see this. They just of this. They can't see it, so how can they teach it? So that's the problem we're facing today. We got a mind that's full of a billion expressions, just like the Arabic and Hebrew language, but we're not using them. We handicapped. It's like trying to drive a Ferrari down a side street every day, or a jet. No, fuck that. Lamborghini. It's like driving a Lamborghini down a side street, and you can only go 10 miles an hour. That's what it feels like. That's how your mind is. You got that foot on that pedal. You want to take off, but you can't. Because what the artificial law tells you not to, it's all in the mind. If I want to hit the gas and go 1,000 miles, I can, but I can't. So try to hold a straw and blow air through it. That's how they got you with the English language. So they say he had to stop that. Said had to stop the higher thought. So, we always building somebody come through and put off the higher thought. How can you fight an enemy you can't speak of? Smith dominated the land. The scent of fresh cooked swine filled the air. Witchcraft with the mind of the sea. A new legion of demons had descended. Their presence brought forth night walkers. Night walkers is the niggas that's been going through so much shit in their life they've been taken over by the shadow walkers, meaning the shadow walkers are dark entity, got 1 foot in that nigga and 1 foot out. Who take the body of the mindless. In the scene world, they were known as heights. The underworld shows in space. Yeah, heights, shit like that. The job was to control the money flow of the drugs and games. Who they favored, they gave power. Who they hated, they destroyed. A setup was their weapon of choice. While the witches channeled the next victim. See, brothers be out here getting set up and witches be channeling. And a lot of times y'all putting these niggas down for no reason, but they got a channeling. But we gonna just keep it as Orion. They're channeling the galactic entity that knows light entity. And it tells them things like, look, this person will wake up. So now you see brothers dying, and you wonder, like, man, what just so happened? Like, why him? And this is part of the reason. So let me keep going. Let's see. Alright. A setup was their weapon of choice. They used witches to channel their next victim. They used the women as portals unknown to her or the man. Holidays appeared to be meant for the family, but to the craft's sole purpose was to absorb the absorption of concentrated thought form. Okay. But the craft's sole purpose was the absorption of concentrated thought from the masses to a thing place or date over which a ceremony was performed. Many prophets died from this act, but people never noticed the synchronicity of their demise, which has always set the stage. All they need are actors. Take one. They believe that men with bad instincts are more in number than good, and therefore the best results in ruling them are violence and terrorization, and not academic discussion. The prophets must die. That's the Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Said is Satan. Satan knew that every man aims at power. Everyone would like to become a dictator. Hoover all them, if only he could. The game chief was produced. That's when the Black Panthers, they had to curb the Black Panthers, so he created the games. They said, look, Joe, you're going to be a chief, we're going to hit you with a couple of guns. So, and we're going to give you the dope or the drugs. So when the shorty was sitting in his Black Power gang, he was looking at Booty over there, gangster chief with that Cadillac and them motherfucking bows on it. And all them females around with that fur coat, and he kept trying to look over to his right and look at his brother, and he kept looking over there, and he's like, I want to be like that. And that's how that went. So, rare indeed are the men who will now be willing to sacrifice the welfare of the all for the sake of securing their own welfare, meaning is, a.k.a. I got to get mine. Mentality was sent forth. Send off men were the offspring of his craft. Soon the Terrorist Act was passed. From this, they would proceed forth with adding gangs to the bill. From that, the National Guard were on their way. The children had no clue. The Decepticons, which is the TV media on Czar, that says what plays, what don't, sets media overruled, downplays the violence in the city. It had been forbidden to speak of. 20 to 30 people were murdered every day, every 2 weeks. They only spoke of one. You can't fight what you can't see. The search continued. When I say that, they're looking for the children of God, the daughters and sons of God. Party was a thing, materialism was a force. Nature cringed at the sight. All jobs were taken out of the city. Only those pertaining to the female aspect was left behind. Knowing that you're here for a purpose while simultaneously seeing no purpose can be crushing in mind. The fall of Adam. With Eve left to fend for herself, she often joined the ranks of society ladies who were voluntary followers of corruption and chaos. We already know that's basketball wives and all that shit, my wife. The corporation, a.k.a. the Decepticon, were paid by the prison industries, also known as Caesar, not to hire anyone with a background. Time and nature did not matter, period. So the sum of $13 million, like $130 million, then both teamed up with the music industry execs to plan a culture of death. Everyone got paid. To Decepticon, money wasn't an issue, only the culture of death and the execution thereof. Caesar hailed from the land of Nome, a descendant of the old school headhunters. 2,000 years later, the prison industry, located in Prison City, their measurements consist of head count, which is niggas, how many niggas that we didn't be locked up. The younger generation was being slaughtered. Caesar seen this as a potential problem. The future stock was in jeopardy. If all the young were killed, then the penitentiary would have a low head count. So they sent the mayor, Ron Emanuel, a letter telling him to fight against the murders of the young, and in his favor, it would appear that the people that he really cared, matched the motive. So some of the letter read like this: help us check the balance of our losses. Arrest them, and we would give them devil sentences. That way, we will make up for the potential inmate that has been lost. And do us a favor, please inform the courts on the subject of not sending us pregnant females, or they cost more than a game. And if anything else puts a strain on the flow, we know you mean well, and we know you will consider our fee. Thank you, good brother, and God bless. And that's it. Go ahead and get a cup of water.
Now I'm listening to the. It's like a myth almost, man. But like it sounds like it's not even real. You know what I'm saying? But it is like. I just want to, man. I got some questions though. You still there?
Go ahead.
So like you say, Caesar. What is Caesar?
Caesar is the supreme white man. You see, that's like the judges, the prosecutors, the head of corporations and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It would be Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, the head of the corporation.
Yeah, like that.
How do they come into play when you talk about City of Israel?
Well, what he do is put the flux on you. He like the judge. When you go to court and you got the judge and they say, they want to give you 10 years and they want to give you 5 years, and you stand up in front of this man and he white his hair with blue eyes and he's looking at you and you can see the coldness in his heart. You know what I'm saying? You can feel that shit, and that's how it looks. That's him. And he got the power in his hands to let you go or to kill you right there. And he say, Joe, fuck that, give him 45 years. And he next without even flinching.
Who put them in power?
Shit, how you want to go? Who put them in power?
So you saying it's a bunch of czars standing over the city, ruling over them.
They're the colonialists. They're the colonials. They've been in power. They're the ones who came over here, the pilgrims and all that shit. They still held their power. They're outside of the Jews. The Jews do their thing, and then they do their thing. But the Jews have infiltrated them, so really the Jews do this. They in power.
Hold on, you moving too fast. What you mean the Jews infiltrated? The Jews infiltrated who?
The court system, the judge system, shit, everything. The corporations, everything. That's why you got to bow down. That's why they, you see how it look. But they use him as a pawn. He's the gatekeeper. So I was like, would be the gatekeeper, behind closed doors and niggas sniffing cocaine, smoking, drink, all that. But he's like the gatekeeper. He's wild as hell on the low. He ain't disciplined enough at home,
That's what you call a czar.
Right, but if you want to go higher than that, who put them in power is Orion. When you want to go there, that's a galactical entity. That's on the fourth dimension, the lower fourth dimension, coming down fucking with our higher in our third dimension. We in the third dimension. And he can't really see that well, so he needs a claw on the earth. He needs to be able to see earth, there's a shit kind of.
Hold on, we going to Israel. You're going too far out of space. Let's keep back to the thing. I'm trying to figure out how all this. I'm just trying to figure out how all this playing with the murder rate. You know what I'm saying? The shit we seeing and why the culture is the way it is, and what can we do to change it?
Well, first, how it all play in is the fact that you got spiritual people and they're under supreme oppression. And this ain't even oppression, this is something different. It's like, how can I put this? I don't even know how to put it, but you forced to see a reality that ain't yours. And they put these images out here to actually give you something to look forward to. Once you look forward to these images, they don't give you nothing positive to look forward to. You emulate the images. And like I said before, it relates to the sales, the culture itself. If I can make a culture and take a people and make a culture, make them think a certain way, eat a certain way, do a certain thing, and I control all the things that they do, meaning is the shoes, the pants, the clothes, if I got all of that, then they working for me, they're slaves for me. They ain't even living. They're portraying in this culture, this matrix that I created only for the benefit of making money and gain off of it. You know what I'm saying? And laugh.
Like a manufactured culture.
Yeah, based off of what they want to sell. So now right now it's a Robin jeans. If them jeans was in Walmart for $15, would you buy them? Answer my question. Right. Hell no. Right, but money make money. See how it go? Money makes
the perceived value. I guess you would call that like the perceived value of it.
Well, all they do is say, Wes, throw these pants on. Jiggers, help me out, throw these pants on. They do it. Then throw them in the store, say, put $900 on them. They do it. So when you go to the club, right, the nigga look at you, he look at you, but then you see your pants, he's like, he start thinking, that nigga got money, man. That nigga must be somebody. Because he thinking like this, because he thinking nigga thinking about this about him. So it's like everybody holding each other in the matrix. You know what I'm saying? Then he got the drugs on. He must be somebody, so I'm kind of listen a little bit. Versus he has some regular ass shoes on. And you're gonna look at him another way, just normal.
Right. Yeah.
The clothes, we the only culture that go through this. Do Japanese go through this? No. China, white men go through this? No. Arab go through this? No. The Arab will come through with a business shirt on and some slacks and some gym shoes, and badass So we don't work on it. Look like somebody being targeted. So who is our enemy? You see what I'm saying? It's an enemy that's everywhere. That's the other. It's on the TV, it's in the radio, it's even in your crib, which is your friends, the person next to you. They become your enemy because they indulging in this culture of death, so they keep them alive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To get in that, by us being spiritual, we are creating a reality that's perfect synchronicity of negativity. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the nigga wake up, like, man, John, he was his job, he's ready and everything. So you don't know that his brother had his pants on last night. So he goes to the little interview and shit, and he's sitting there and do like, yeah, you can get the job. He's like, then he get up and shake the man's hand in the back, but where you father's pocket? He's like, wait a minute. I ain't even wait a minute. How this happened? But he don't know his little brother took his pants when he kicked it last night. Left a big ass bundle in the pocket. So there was some Robinson jeans. So he wants to what you see what I'm saying? And the nigga don't even know you don't wear Robinson jeans to an interview. You wear some slacks or a t-shirt. So you see what I'm saying? He wanna feel like he's somebody. Yeah. So that's a fucking synchronicity of bullshit. Nigga, you just so happen to wear my pants. I get up there, that shit fall out of my pocket. And this nigga just looked at me about to call the police, and I hit the job. The shadow walker's last ass off. Anything else? Okay, how about the shooting on the expressway? One person got shot, died, and then right after that, hour later, another person got shot on the same expressway right down the street from each other. Two isolated different incidents. How does this shit happen? You see what I'm saying? Like, you had decided at the same time, like, damn, you had the same thought, nigga. Yeah, I was thinking about shooting a nigga on the expressway. Shit, you had one too. Come on, Joe. Bumblebee. Shit, if you kill a bumblebee, watch how many more coming for your ass, and they want nowhere around. That's how I explain it. Be in the prison, kill a bee, and watch how many more be coming for you. How do they know? These are gifts we already got. Your nature show you what you can do. Like, you know you can do this. You know if you kill this damn being here, shit, the rest of them gonna come for you. You don't even see them. They just come out of nowhere because they sense like, damn, somebody just steal my buddy. I have mine. That's what nature shows you. You can do all this. You man, you supreme. I made you to do all this, and I'm gonna spread it out and show you what you can do. They say Adam was in the garden of Eve. He named all the animals. He was in there talking about something. I can do that. I can fly. I can do this. That's what the fuck he was doing. But I go back to us. And you got that type of person in a concrete constructed rat trap or a neighborhood that's full of liquor stores, churches, and dope spots.
With no camera.
Somebody say something?
Yes, this Angel Peace. It's like you said, it's churches and the liquor stores, and then of course the mobile stores, the T-Mobiles and all this with the A-Rad. But with New York, Giuliani, he all of a sudden is doing all the lights on the city. He put the lights on the city, so the crime went down. He put the cameras on the block, so the crime went down. And then here you see Chicago. It's like, when I come outside, it's like a dark cloud over this city. It's like you can really see it. Like, it's crazy to me because they like, okay, all these killings going on. Like, who's going to die tonight? Whose child's going to die tonight? But then the daytime comes, there's light. But when the nighttime comes, there's no lights, there's no cameras, there's no, nobody, they don't investigate to find out who's doing it. And like, my father came up in Chicago and he was the spokesperson for Jeff. And he told me a story about how when he was young on Woodlawn, he said how he used to come outside. He's 83 now. He'll be 84 next month. His name is Delilah. And he told me how when he used to come out in the mornings, he would see the crate in the how you call it, the gangway. He'll see a crate. We had a gangway. She said, Angel, there used to be crates of guns just sitting like garbage. You know how you go out in the garbage, you go to throw your garbage out. You see a crate with a bunch of guns, all kinds. He started naming them and everything. And I said, that's bizarre to me. Like, that's bizarre to me. So here it is, 2016. No crimes are being solved. And I'm like, okay, it's nighttime now. There's no cameras. Okay, but once in a few hours I'm gonna be asleep. Okay, I wake up in the God hour, but at the same time when we sleep, who's dumping the guns in our hoods with there's no light, there's no cameras? It's just weird to me. It just seems like it's so surreal. No crimes are being solved. Giuliani turned the lights on in the city. So I mean it happens, but it don't happen like down here, of course. He put the lights on. He put the cameras on. He said he ain't going for that. And then at the same time, people still going to jail for 20 and 30 years getting them fed bids. They ain't getting the state bids no more. They getting the fed bids.
Hey, so it's strange that you see that fall. I've seen what you've seen, and that's the negative entities, what we call shadow walkers, hovering over the land, waiting to find who they can play with. You see that the cameras. I'm gonna tell you something. We got the cameras, but they do it right in front of the cameras, and I always say that camera is for British TV network where they sit back and watch us, you know what I'm saying? And actually, we are entertainment for the filthy rich, you know? Because how would you have a camera that don't work, like you say, they doing the shit right in front of the cameras. Like a guy went out there the other day to get him some green, and he went to the spot, I guess, and the dude said, man, you look like a faggot, and shot him and took the money, and he's trying to, you know, it don't make no damn sense. You know, how you gonna have a dope spot and you shooting your people that's buying your drugs?
Right. That's crazy.
Insane.
They like,
you see it.
There it is, you know, there it is, you shot him, okay, fine, that's another one. It's like they just checking us off the list. They just checking us off the list. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But it's real. You see it. You see it. And we try to figure out the mental, the thinking of the people, but it started in the house. It started with the broken house home, and then it started with they flood you with images and the taste of what you like and, you know, what you think you like or what you don't like, because a lot of this music, if one of these brothers sat in the car with you and rapped, you'd be like, get the hell out of here. So who the hell said it's number one? A lot of people like it's all bullshit, but who's saying it's number one? It's easy to put a song if you got full control over everything and say, hey, make this garbage ass song. Look at Young Thug. How is this possible? This nigga got a purple dress on. How is this possible? You know, see what I'm saying? What direction is we going? But another thing under the metaphysical side, what he's doing is breaking out of the old realm and into the new realm, but they done perverted it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like there is no boundaries to my expression. That's the highest side of that thought. That's the highest side of what he's doing. Sort of like Prince. Yeah. But they want to pervert it. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's at nighttime, there's no one outside. You know, and it's a 98% chance you'll get shot if you outside. So
right.
The demographic is, though, you can go down the street and cross one street and the whole reality change. You know, from Oak Park to like on Harlem in that area or downtown as you drive further. And it's like you see that they got a mental block that a lot of those people don't even go out of that neighborhood. You know, it's like you just drive right across the street and go a whole, you know, Mary Lou Retton area for you with white people, doctors, lawyers walking around and it look crazy. You know, it's sad, you know. It's sad. It's just real sad. Blah, you want to add on anything else? Or sweetheart, you want to say?
I wanted to say, you know, as I'm listening to you describe these different things, it really kind of sounds like, you know, scenes from a movie almost. And the mind, like, you know, I actually got, you know what I'm saying, I used to make money on the street selling movies. You know, I made more money selling movies because I understand, like, black people just not black people in the hood in general just like to buy and watch movies. You know what I'm saying? And I've noticed that, like, the mind is kind of like holographic in the way that people kind of see their mind, their life like a movie. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, you know, you cross this railroad track, you be in a whole other movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you go over here and you turn left and you end up in the whole, you know, the right side of the neighborhood. It looks like you're in a whole different movie. You know what I'm saying? But over here it looks like this. And basically, long story short, what I'm saying is that, like, you know, we are our own masters of our own movie. You know what I'm saying? Like all of us are kind of living in our own movie, and everybody got their own power, you know what I'm saying, over their own domain. You know what I'm saying? And like as we move and navigate through this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's important to realize that everybody around us is seeing their life as their own movie, so they kind of be caught up in the moment. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like to, you know, just get advice, you know what I'm saying, just be aware that, like, you know, when you listen to these type of programs we be building, you know what I'm saying, information we trying to give, like, we time travelers, you know what I'm saying? We able to not just see ourselves, we able to see how our life and how our quote-unquote movie has an effect on the people around us, and how the people around us are unable to see the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is just co-stars in they movie. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of, that's how we kind of moving around. Like everybody moving around like, oh man, you just a co-star in my movie. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing that we all in this together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what you know what I'm saying? The only you know thing I want to take away from this, you know what I'm saying, is we listen to the audio, we talking to each other, we, you know what I'm saying, putting these thoughts out. Just remember that, like, you know, we able to see the collective a lot more easier than the people actually down here in the earth moving through the, you know what I'm saying, going through the motions. So, the words that we choose, the things that we listen to. I'm saying just listening to these type of audios, and just building like this is gonna help you time travel a lot easier. And you don't need to know how to time travel in these days, especially when the wild information creep up on you and you don't know how to respond. You're gonna need to know how to time travel and not get caught up in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So keep your vibration good. Make sure you listening to the right audio. Make sure you just keep your ear open to positive and spiritual and time travel like information. You know what I'm saying? In this day and age, you can't allow yourself to get caught up in the moment for a second. You know what I'm saying? Because shit moves so quick. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to keep moving. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to say.
That's deep.
Okay, Sister Brian, anybody got anything you want to add on? This is a show you can we build. We don't just be talking. We love to hear people's perspective like the sister that just got them talking. I'm still kind of tweaking over that. That's, because it's verification. What I see, the ether that I see, you see the same ether, so that is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see, like, I went downtown today. I went on Michigan Ave, and I had been protesting with Vermont and everything like that. And, we did the blackout at Christmas time. We shut it down. Like, we wouldn't let nobody get a Tiffany. Like, they lost a lot of money through last Christmas time, and we ready to go forward again. Y'all won't be getting no diamonds today, no pearls today, you know what I mean? And I went in here today because I'm looking for a job, and I just didn't know where to go. So I said, I'm going to try Michigan Avenue today. So, I put on my Sunday vest. I had on my Saks Fifth Avenue dresses, and, my aunt used to get pieces like that. So I got something in my closet. So I dressed to impress, and I went in, and I had an interview at Neiman's Marcus. So my background is not really working with retail. That was in my younger days, but I've been working with the kids. I've been security for 13 years. I work with depression kids of that sort. I tried to come down here and get juvenile detention, but once I moved down here last year, this guy told me that I work at Woodline Resource Center. He told me that the federal government took over juvenile detention because the regular people that was working here wasn't watching the kids. So now they asking for a degree. And I'm like, well, I don't have a degree. I have experience. So it's hard for me to get in juvenile detention, try to help our kids, try to get out here and do what's right. So I go to the interview, and so he looks at my resume, and he sees that I work at food service. And I'm like, that was my last job. I had 4 jobs for 3 years straight. I worked at the school system, and I worked at the healthcare or whatever. So he said, well, wouldn't you rather take, working in our kitchen? And I'm looking at him like, I have a Avenue dress. You know what I mean? I got on my shoes. I got on my pocketbook my grandmother gave me, popped the tag off. And I'm like, no, I want to change my field. I would like to go back into retail. So he said, okay, well, I'll look over and give you a call. And I said, oh, my goodness. So then right after that, a half an hour later, my daughter came down there, dressed to impress. She went down there. She called me on the phone. She said, Mommy, I'm ready to get out this building. That these people is prejudiced. She's trying to, move me into another direction when she do retail. She makes sales. So they asked her, did she make such and such amount of sales at the store she was in at Macy's? And he was like, Macy's not our competition. It doesn't matter. If she know how to sell clothes, she know how to sell clothes. So she got pissed off and left out. But my whole thing was they're prejudiced at the end of the day. They don't want us to do nothing. They want us to cut carrots and potatoes for them. You know what I mean? Like, my resume speaks volumes. So once I left Michigan Avenue, I went to a couple of stores. I even went in Tiffany's just to mess with them and be like, oh, do you have to have experience? And she said, oh, yes, you have to have experience. And I only wanted to say sell diamonds and pearls. I mean, what's so hard about saying this is nice? Would you like to buy it? You know what I mean? So once I left there and I came back to the hood, I've seen a total difference of them walking up and down Michigan Avenue, acting like they don't see me, dark as I am, bumping into me and everything. And then I get back to the hood and I see our sisters with the long face, not smiling, a dark cloud over them, because they're in the same situation I'm in, because they don't know how to elevate. Like, I know how to elevate, but they're not letting me elevate. You see what I'm saying? So what I got to do, go back to school? I'm about to be 50 years old. It's just like really, really, they want to have you stuck. They want to have you stuck. So wiping tables. I got a job as a hostess downtown on Clark Street. They opened up a new revival hall, a new food hall. it's an upgrade from McDonald's and stuff like that. So they hired me as a greeter. The next week, I was wiping tables and sweeping the floor. I said, I can't do this. They went from 7 hours to 6 hours to 5.5 hours. I ended up leaving. It's just like they want to leave the stuff.
Let me ask you something. They know this. Who you gonna tell? That's what they know. Who you gonna tell and how you gonna tell it? See what I'm saying? And that's what they got. That's why they pull it.
Right.
But on the metaphysical side, it's forcing us to come together. It's because it's to the point now, like we ain't we're not humble, and and we by us not being humble, we still think shit sweet. So the worse it gets, it brings us together, but it has to get worse in order for us to start coming together. Unless we just up and do it, without it being right, it's a brimstone type thing going.
Right, because I posted this morning, stay hustle. It said, stay humble, hustle, but stay humble. I'm always humble, you know what I mean? But it's so far that you can bow down to them that they're not going to let you get nothing. So it's just like I pray every day that our people come together and let's build again. Black Wall Street, let's get it going. Like, what's the problem? Like, I don't get it. What's the problem? Why is everybody still so deaf, dumb, and blind? Like, I don't get it. The sisters, like, I know what it is. Because when I came back to the hood, like I said, the sisters got long faces. You try to smile at them and say hello, they frowning. You know what I mean? Like, you have no communication.
You pop locking this energy. Now think about that. Just smiling at each other will transform the whole energy real quick. You'll feel protected.
Right.
You'll feel more love. You won't be worried. It won't be that knee on your neck. It won't be Freddy Krueger around the corner. So the power in it. You know what I'm saying? Like what Rock said, everybody. It's not to quote him because he shit, but in the movie, he said, everybody has a good nature. Everybody think when they wake up in the morning that they're doing good. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of evil, but, it's most people that we deal with are the Caucasian feel this way. So it teaches us how what God called Juice League, like, use your spiritual power to get what you want, or go into the metaphysical or your realm. And all you got to do, to make a long story short, because I'm not going to tell you all this, why next you crap, is keep your vibration high no matter what, and watch how everything around you change. It's going to submit to your 360-degree radius. Once you raise your vibration, you got a radius. Anybody coming in that radius submit to your energy. And so, but when they leave, they might, go back and start talking shit that don't got nothing to do with you, you know what I'm saying? But they'll never tell you. They're not going to tell you in the beginning. They're just going to keep fucking with you, calling you. Hey, man, what you doing? Nothing. What's up? Shit. I'm gonna chill with you, and you're like, okay, man, okay, cool. And they're gonna tell you they want to talk about this, you know what I'm saying? So they're gonna talk about bullshit, and then they're gonna, before they leave it, you don't spark it up, but they're waiting on you to start talking Black Power, and they kind of shy about asking you. They're gonna ask you, like, why don't you tell me some of that about what you said earlier, And really, it's only happened like that because as time goes by, the more you say it, the more they see it. The more you say it, the more it comes to life. But somebody got to be the torch bearers. That's why you able to see and go through the bullshit, because you have to hold the torch. You got to know, somebody got to hold the knowledge. Somebody got to keep it going. Everybody can't keep up. Somebody got to, and shit is like a story in a book. So you had Jesus, Moses, and all these people. It's around it, and it's a billion people, and it's only these certain characters. That's the same thing that's going on now. Somebody had to keep it going. You like, damn, he went around here and people trying to kill him and everything. He building and, making millions, all this. He was a great man, but somebody had to keep it going. So it's the new book being written. So somebody got to be the characters in the new book. Everybody else trying to be Judah and the people in Babylon. Ain't nobody trying to be in the city of Israel. That's why you got to be in the Holy City. You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem. It's like, okay, well, the book one-sided. It's too heavy on the left. They got a whole bunch of bad guys. So where's the good guys? That's how I look, you know what I'm saying? But they got a whole bunch of ammo for the good guys, meaning the negativity is drained. They're pulling off each other. It's like a starving hyena. And it's a tank full of positive energy that's not being used. So whoever starts pulling from that tank gonna have a lot of power. Thing is, you gotta be pure heart. You can't be on the bullshit. You can't be bullshitting with you. You gotta be pure heart. And the spirits know if you're pure or not. That's why the generals get up in war. And I don't know if y'all seen this movie, but it was called, I forgot. Beast of No Nation. That's that type of shit right there. Yeah, he told him, he said, so you'll die if you ain't, you got that bullshit in your heart. And they was walking through towns, niggas gonna shoot this in Africa, they just walking and killing people and they wasn't getting touched. That's real. That's what the crackers scared of. Once you able to do that, how he gonna stop you? So it's destined in his motherfucking mission to stop you. That's why he's spending all this money. But if he know what they know what you can do and you got capabilities of, it's like a machine that ain't being turned on. You see what I'm saying? Just sitting there.
And I need it turned on because I came back here to pick up where my father left off because actually, they kept, getting him up on these Trump charges and stuff, being a spokesperson for the Rangers and stuff like that. And so it was right after Fred had got killed. So it was like he either continue to save his people or save his immediate family, which was me and my mother. You know what I mean? So he packed up and we left and we went to the East Coast. So, and I just told him the other day that I really admire him for making that change, because if not, he would have been under the penitentiary with Jeff. You know what I mean? And with Rico, and Rico passed away, and it's sad too. But he would still be in there, like he would die in jail. So he chose to say, okay, I'm done with it right now. But what he did was he went to the East Coast and he picked up where he left off. And he continued to help the teenagers, get jobs and, try to get in college and get their GEDs and things of that sort. So he really didn't stop doing what he was doing. It's just that he had to leave his home ground where he was born and raised. So I came back to try to pick up where he left off, but I don't know where to begin because I don't have two pennies to rub together. Like, I want to open up a bread basket, you know what I mean? Something like that for the kids to eat in the morning and things of that sort. Start off small, but I don't know where to begin. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't even have a job yet to, hold down my home front for being not there to God. But at the same time, I'm still here to pick up where my dad left off. So if you guys would just pray for me, you might see me one day out here opening up something for the kids in the hood. So just pray for me.
All right. Well, we got you. I got a website. I want you to write this down where I can communicate with you. Or I'm Pomo on Facebook because I got to cut this short real quick. And
all right.
We can communicate there. Like, if you can friend me on Facebook, POEMOE, or go to the website. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me there at GodspeedMeaning.com. We can further communicate and maybe come up with something. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we've been doing, and we've been doing it more on like really just no matter what, not stopping. Just keep going till we can't go no more. But I feel you. All you have to do is keep the vibration up, and ride with us, ride with Godspeed, study some of our sciences. It'll take you there. You see what we talk about, how we talk. So just sign up for Godspeed.com or HoodX.com, baby. Try Godspeed. If you want to get up with me. And my man Blau gone. And yes, this concludes tonight's show. And sister, it was nice talking to you. Hopefully we'll hear.
Talk show. Recorded live.
Welcome, family. It's your host, Pomo from Godspeed Nation. Be sure to sign up for the website, GodspeedMeaning.com, if you haven't. Where to get all your info at. Welcome, family. God's GSM broadcast brought to you by GodspeedMeaning.com, where the universe is the sum total of all knowledge and the balance between which is known and unknown. So if you haven't signed up, be sure to sign up. I'm trusting. Get you a glass of lemon water, and it's a journey. There's something you might pick up, leave, but you definitely gonna come back. And tonight's show is a new series that we have. One of the queens from Godspeed Nation. Her name is Samira Yashira, and tonight's topic is from the gods of the gods to the gods of the earth. Walk with me into the light. How you doing, Queen?
Blessings. It's an honor. It's an honor to be able to actually be able to speak to the nation. I'm honored to be able to reach out to the masses, and I just thank you for giving me this platform. And Shamara Yeshaya, Shamara meaning protected by God, and Yeshaya meaning God lends me favor, and He sent me. So the name Shamara Yeshaya is not just a name; it has a lot of power in that name. It's a Hebrew name, and it was given to me by the Most High. Okay,
that'll work. And well, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, when this is for those who don't know, this is a Godspeed Nation broadcast, and we share pretty much sciences from the website. Different god bodies and goddesses have blog talks on here. And before we start, I'd like to give a shout out to Chaz Deji, and who else? Rue, and my man Brian the Scientist, Alchemist, Benita Arset, and many more. My man B Solo, and whoever I forgot. That's just some of the members of the nation. And this is something new. So Queen, what inspires you? I mean, what tell us a little bit about your journey before we start, like as far as waking up. Or how did it happen?
All praise to the Most High. All of this belongs to Him. All the praise and all the honor. I'm just a body being used by the Spirit. So therefore, I know now that I'm not just here on the earth. Something prior to all of my awakening, I went on a journey. It was like literally, I couldn't understand why people were so hateful and why people were so against each other and why people wouldn't share and why, if someone made it, they wouldn't help the others make it. And just a world, I felt like I was just an alien in the world, like nobody understood me. And because I felt so secluded, it pushed me towards more of, God. Like I just knew that if nobody else on the earth really understood me, I knew I could actually release myself to Him. So in that process of me being pushed away by the people, family, I'm talking work, co-workers, I'm talking friends, children, my baby's father, everyone. I literally didn't have nobody in my corner, and it made me realize something is wrong. Something's not right with the earth. Like something's not right with the people. They claim to love God, but it's so easy for them to turn you away when you're in the midst of needing God. So if you love God, yeah.
Wait, can you hear me? Do I sound clear?
I can hear you.
Yep. Okay, I sound clear. Okay, go ahead. You talk, man. So, interrupt. I just need to make sure.
Oh, no, it's okay. In that process, it just kind of pushed me towards finding out, what it is that God really wanted from me. And because I was in so much turmoil, nothing was going my way, nothing was working. Everything I tried was not right. I was running into like dead ends and a complete 360. I would start and then I would go and then I would end up back where I was at. And it was just like, it was unexplainable. And the moment I actually took time to get into the Word by myself without a pastor or without a Bible study or without someone else leading me to the scripture, I just went to the scripture on my own. And things were revealed to me slowly. And I started to realize that, He was speaking to me through His scripture, which was in Exodus in the beginning. And he talked about Moses parting the Red Sea, and he talked about the bondage that the ancestors or the descendants to Moses, Isaac, Abraham, and Jacob would have to go through. And a lot of that just matched up to my life. Like I felt like I was definitely one of the people that was put in bondage, and I couldn't get out of it. So from that, from me reaching out to the source myself, I started to have Bible study on my own. I would have Bible study at home. I would, me and my friends, we would talk about God. We would laugh about God. It wasn't so much as, He was a angry God. We would make fun with Him. We had fun with Him. Even though we were still in the world, we still stepped out of the world to actually find out more of God together. And in that process, it was just a slow awakening. It didn't happen overnight. It took me 7 years to actually go through my journey. And it forced me, the Most High forced me.
Okay. Let me ask you something before you go on, because it's a couple of points you hit. Remember, we're going to stay on the journey, but it's a couple of points you hit. When you said laugh, I'm going to start that, and I'm going to go back a little bit. And when you said laugh, so at that point you realized God wasn't this gloom and doom God, this angry, jealous, I'll kill you God. He was more like a father that was a cool father or a cool brother or a cool uncle. He had love for you. Every now and then he'll show you a joke about something, somebody's lost, or he got jokes. If you woke, I got plenty of jokes. He'll show you some crazy shit. You just be like, wow. Okay. That's when you got to know him. So you kind of understood it wasn't the church God as if you don't follow these laws, you did. It was more so of a father figure. If you can imagine what a father figure is. He's stern and disciplined, but he still love you. He ain't gonna let you hit that flow, but he ain't gonna let you get out of pocket either. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have respect for yourself and other people. And go back to when you said you went through a lot of stuff. I want to ask a question. Was it a certain synchronicity to what you went through? I mean, was it like it was synchronized to where you asked yourself, wait a minute, either I'm somebody special or something is totally wrong, you know, because when you waking up or when you got a mission, most people like that just don't have a mission, and then things happen either here or there. But when you have a mission and you're going down the wrong path or you falling deeper to sleep, that the ancestors or the fourth Agent Smith will be allowed to shake your life up so much that you won't be able to see it no way but synchronized bullshit. Am I right or wrong?
Very true. You're very right, and you hit a good point. Pretty much in my situation, because everybody has a different walk and everybody has a different sin that they actually fall into, and they are trapped in their own bondage. Everybody has their own. So for me, I've always been an entertainer. I've always liked music, dancing, acting, modeling, singing, writing. This is something that's been a natural capability of mine since I was a youth. Okay. So once I grew up, I always thought, I knew I was going to be a celebrity or I would be famous. This is what as a little girl, I always knew this. And so when my mother passed away, I couldn't really actually do the things that I was doing prior to her being alive. So what happened was, instead of me going to the big spotlight, I had to I became a stripper. And when I became a stripper, it was like, okay, I'm getting the attention that I want. I'm getting the money that I want. It's like, okay, well, I guess this is the closest I'm going to get to celebrityism that I'm going to get. When I did it, it wasn't for the sexual immortality. It was for the survival and for taking care of my daughter. Like, as a single mother, a lot of it.
Let me pause you there. It's the same reason they can sell drugs. You know, it's the same shit.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It really is. Because I'm a woman, because you're a man, you can't do what I do, and I can't do what you do. Some women are able to be able to step into a man's world and do that, but a lot of men don't step into the woman's world and realize that we do the same thing. It's just in a different way. So we hustling, and we doing it to support our families. So in that process, when I started to do those things, it wasn't so much as me being like, oh, I'm a stripper, I'm a bad person. It was like, oh, here come the family. Let me move around. It was more like, I'm dancing. I'm in this position, but this is not where I want to be. You know, God, I would talk to him and ask him, why am I doing this? Like, why am I here? But in the process, I had to use my beauty to get what I needed. So because I knew that was something I was good at, I was like, okay, well, all I got to do is get cute and just go in here and get the money. I don't have to do nothing for it. And so it made it easier for me to actually commit that sin. And once I opened that door, here comes 7 more sins. So it became an alcohol demon, and then the sex demon, and then the lie demon, and the manipulating demon. And all these demons came along with me stepping into this world. Now, prior to this, I would never have been a stripper. If my mother didn't die, I don't think I ever would have stepped into that world. She raised me a different way. This was totally me. I cannot blame this on nobody. And a lot of people do this in their walk. They blame it on, well, I had a bad upbringing and I didn't have no money and my mama didn't have this. Yeah. I don't blame it on that.
Because that's just an excuse to keep doing what you're doing. You know, that's just an excuse. That's like what a lot of majority of the people do. You know, they use that excuse of what happened, the trauma in their life, to keep furthering the bullshit that they're doing in their present time. Yeah. And that's not, like you said, that's not the way to go. Because a lot of times that pain, that thing you went through, was made you is who you is today. And you can be farther evolved if you just go the right way. If you use it for a crutch, you're gonna go backwards, and it's going the pain. You're not looking for happiness then. You're not looking for one. That means you just want to be on bullshit, and you become something what we call an agent. And if you stay kicking it with that bullshit ass excuse, then you become a sacred agent. To where you just can't be turned. You just fucked up person. So try to X that out. Use that as a bad memory to know there's pain in this world and people go through shit. So don't get too high on your horse. So use that then father yourself and find a God body or God or Goddess. Go ahead, Queen.
Although when I was in the dark, I can say that I never had lost my light. I would always say that I was the light in the darkness. Even though I was in a dark place, I still held the light of the Most High. I didn't know Most High. I would just consider him to be God. And I never lost that.
Let me pause there. Hold on. Let me pause there. You're saying a lot. Let me just break it down. Hold on. I got you. Okay, so when you say that, you just, see, I'm listening to what you're saying. The key thing is, I was stripping, but I asked God, why am I here? 99% of the females in there ain't even thinking that thought. Just for you thinking that thought, you knew you already won. You already knew some type of way you was won. You just didn't have no mirror. You didn't have no reflection. You didn't know why you was thinking this shit. Because nobody else thinking. Just said, but you, that means you chosen. You had to go. When we came back from the ether, came here, we know then in the ether very well that what we call bullshit and pain, there's a transform mechanism, a change mechanism, or it's a train to get you from one place to another. We understand that there, but here in the earth, we understand it as bullshit in our life because we took in this body, and in this body, that's what it tells us. But if you can reroute your mind and understand that's just a transform point. So when you go through certain things in your life that seem like hell, that's true. It's a transform point. So
definitely,
you told yourself that I'm gonna always remember who I am, even though I'm gonna fall asleep. So what the universe do is in order to wake you up, because when you grow up, everything lolly, everything cool, everything kind of dead, and they know at a certain point that they don't send the agent of bullshit or the synchronicity Smith or allow.
Hello.
Yeah, we still there. Oh, I got you.
Okay.
If they don't allow shadow walkers to fuck with you, then you wouldn't grow. And you become like a rich kid, spoiled. Have no empathy or sympathy. You know what I'm saying? And you'll think money is your God and you won't need God, so you don't have to act right. So that's why the universe knows it sends people and it can't lose them people because you're very precious. There's not that many actions. Why am I here looking for God? Even in the void of knowledge, you're still looking for God. So that's how you know you from heaven trying to figure this earth shit out. And you're not from earth trying to find heaven. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I was in that world, yeah.
Right, I'm going to give you an example. When I was growing up, I had innocence. I always asked the same question, why is the world so mean? Why does this little nigga with all candy want to keep it? How do that feel to want to keep all that candy you can't eat instead of passing it to the fellas? I didn't understand his thinking. So as time goes on, you know what I'm saying, I'm looking for God and man, I'm looking for God and man, I'm looking around. I got 5 cents, I'm 5 cents short. The man behind me don't pay. He said, give me 5 and walk the fuck out the store or pump 6.
Right.
I'm looking for God and man. The man will say, I got the shorty food and give me some gas. So I didn't see that. So as time go on, I knew the world was getting cold. So as I got older, situation in life, like you had, shook up. My mother died. She was still physically alive, but the things that happened in our life, the shadow walkers that was there that I didn't have a name for, was deep into our reality. So, you know, he shook the situation up enough to where I had to go out and pick up the drugs. This was my initiation. This is what you call going through hell to get to heaven. So in that, I found pain, I found God, I found all that. I found jail, I found gunshots, I saw fights, I got shot at, all that shot. I found all that. And then through that, I always had this thing in my mind is, first of all, don't never kill nobody. And I said, I know I'm in this, but it's just what time it's being. I know I'm in this because, you know, this can't be what my life is. So I'm going to use this to get me back, but I know I got to get up out of it. Now I'm asking myself, why am I thinking like this too at the same time? Because the nigga next to me don't automatically respond. Nigga run up, he blowing his head off. Nigga run up, I'm thinking like, hold on, I ain't finna kill a nigga. And then what? I'm going to go to jail, then I'm going to get footed for, you know, what the fuck? I ain't finna do that. And I'm thinking something wrong with me because I'm not on automatic respond like this cat. But the power of God was so strong in me, it kept me still knowing who the fuck I was. Like, no, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using this as a crutch. So I didn't know what that was. And the void of knowledge, it's slowly, like you said, become you. From niggas to God, you know, and that type of stuff. It slowly become you. As long as you can hold on to that thought and know that thought it has to be louder than any other thoughts in your mind. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. But no, I'm understanding what you're saying because I had to go through it. My main thing was never kill nobody. Then God sent the angels to talk to me. And the last dude was a Jewish dude with a retarded son. I'm on the bus with my hair, you know, wild as hell. My eyes red. And it was just me and him. A couple more people got on. I knew he was going to sit by me. And that's what the hell he did. He had his son sit over there, sat by me, and the crazy old Jewish dude talking to a black nigga with his eyes red. He started asking me about school. And I was like, no, I was like, fuck, no, I don't fuck with, you know, I ain't in college and all that. He said, well, I'm going to take the truth to you. I was like, all right, you know, I'm wondering what the fuck going on. And he told me a story. He basically said that through his life, Satan ravaged his life. He was one of the ones that made it through all his friends was dead. But he told me in the end, the only thing I know is the feeling that I felt God and the aspect that never give up. That's what he told me. That's what I remember. So this is where you see me now. I've been to many points where I felt, should have, or could have gave up, but if I would, I wouldn't have been right here right now. So he was telling me, but I didn't know why he was telling me that until life goes on. So I got the message early.
Right.
And the reason I said I felt the voice of God, even though he was white, because God said, you're going to remember this moment. If I come to you and the nigga said this, you ain't going to remember it. But if you come to you with a white dude saying this and you feeling these chills, these vibes, where you giving away money when you get off, you know it's me. And that means with that I can talk to you either way I want. I ain't got time to wait for a bunch of black niggas with the right soul and the right chakra set up where I can spill my energy in for them to talk to you. I'm going to find the closest race or whatever I can. Because half of you niggas is deep into lower self. So your chakra's fucked up and the universe is looking past you. So now you got Eminem. And you got these righteous white boys and all that, and come on, go ahead, Queen. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I wanted to just speak on the fact that, I mean, because we know what actually had us in darkness, we actually realized the problem. The problem was we were being deceived. We were being dragged into darkness. We didn't just wake up and want to be, in that dark life, in the darkness. If we didn't go through it, see, this is what I realize now. I had to go through that stuff. I had to go through walking through the valley of the shadow of death, but not fearing any evil because I knew that he was with me. So although that we were in those dark places, those places brought us to the light. If we didn't actually go through the dark, we would have never made it to the light. So in order to see the light, you have to go through darkness first. So, right now, a lot of people downplay the strippers. They talk bad about them. Sometimes they get uplifted and praised. But for the most part, don't no man want to marry a stripper. They talk bad about them. They pimp them and do whatever they want to. However, I can reach them and I can talk to them in a way that others don't. Others put them in a place where it's like, you're no good. You're damaged goods. God don't love you. And that's not the truth. So because they haven't been there and they don't really know what it's like to do it, like you, and you have to sell drugs. So that those dudes standing on the corner, they taking chances. They can get shot and robbed. They can get, the police can take them. Somebody can come and steal their drugs. They can get caught up in a dilemma where they owe somebody. It's many, many things that come along with just deciding to sell drugs. But somebody who sold drugs before and overcame it can actually go out there and talk to them and explain to them, look at me, I did it, so I know you can do it. It's no excuses. But the people who never been through something, the people who actually just always had it to where they had it made, the people with the silver spoon, those are the ones that downplay and look at you and say, well, you didn't have to do what you did. You could have went to school. You could have got a job or whatever, because they're not quite understanding. You might have felonies. You might have been put in the system.
No, Queen, hold on. Let me clear you up. You might have the shadow walkers in your life or Satan for purposes of waking you up. They ain't got the same purpose on earth as you. So, right, they don't understand why you talking like you talk. They can never understand, because how can you explain to their shallow ass the synchronicity of the bullshit happening in your life? To them, they just say, oh, that's just so happened. They can't see the unseen, even though it's right there in their face.
Well, of course, and not only just not being able to see it, but they can't feel it. If you in darkness and you know that you crying out, and nobody really knows what you think, only you know your thoughts. So when you in the streets and you thinking everything is good, but when you in the, by yourself, you crying out to God, asking, why me? Why am I going through this? Why am I struggling so much?
So hold on. So that's Jesus when he said, hey, so by me, my God, why have you forsaken me, when he was on that cross? That's what you're saying. That's how it relates to us. Them the codes. That's a direct link to us. To God hears them prayers.
Right. And then you start saying things like, God don't love me. How he loved me, but he let me struggle. How he loved me, but he took my mama. How he loved me, but my brother is in jail for life, and he knew that I needed my brother. And if he loved me so much, why would he leave me in the struggle? This is what you start saying to yourself. I mean, it's natural. It's natural to say these things, but what really matters is the people that supposedly are awakened. So if you are in darkness and you go to a church, because I still was in church when I was in darkness, I still went to a church faithfully, and I paid tithes, and I did the whole church thing, and I still knew, because they say he died on the cross for my sins, so he's got to love me. But why am I struggling so much? And the people that were supposedly awakened seeing me fall into darkness, they weren't there to say, look, I'm going to give you a job. It's not going to be as much as you would make in a regular job, but here you can make $5 an hour if you just cut my grass. Or if you want to wash my car, I'll give you $20 right now so you don't have to go and lay down with somebody. Or if I'm asking for a meal, say, for example, I'm on the streets and, some guys, they will walk up to me, hey, what's up, little mama, and all that. I'm really not trying to do nothing. I'm just hungry. Like, shit, what you going to do for me? Like, damn, like, that's where we
actually... the church mentality. But this is the church mentality, what you're saying. That's why you ain't in there now. You seeing that, okay, you got a business. And you got a business, and the business, you give it a year span. And in that year, you see that you lost all your money. Is you going to keep investing in that business? So a church is in charge of the spiritual morality of the people. So if they're in charge of the spiritual morality of the people, from the time me and you was born and even before that, if everything is right and people is being taught right, how the fuck is we in this condition morally? Why we ain't canceled this plan? Why is this plan still running? The first people is the same people that threw them rocks and crucified Jesus. It's the same people. That's how I look. The church people that's thinking they on the inside looking out is the motherfucker really who crucified them. Because people like us is walking the walk, talking the talk. And then they'll crucify your ass when you talk to them, like, look at you like you crazy, because they never seen the death and the resurrection. That means they don't really believe that which they think they believe.
And that's very true. But you have to look at the church and say, how many of us are really in darkness in the church, and how many of us are just in brainwash techniques? Because, I believe in my heart that it's many, many children of the Most High that's scattered amongst all religions. They're in the Christian faith, they're in Buddha faith, they're in the Catholic faith, Jehovah's Witness. We are actually being brainwashed to believe that this is the right way. But somewhere along the way, they wake up. It's something that the pastor says. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying they made us gangbang. Gangbangers gangbang in church, and religious people gangbang. Because what you're saying is my side is the shit and yours ain't. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
No, go ahead. I'm done. I was just saying that you said there's many religions. They done broke us down in many religions, 13 pieces. They done scattered the pieces all over the earth. Set and scattered the mission, just scattered pieces all over the earth. And I said the great mother God is trying to put them back together. And when she said the most the choicest one is his phallus, which is his dick, and resurrect. Is a resurrected dick. They just short in that form, but it means the nigga resurrect. She's trying to wake him up. So she showed resemblances of him in movies. She slide through and make certain movies and certain things to show you your image of your true self, if you're able to catch it.
And understanding the dark places. I mean, I talk about the dark places because I love to really actually have this testimony. This testimony is not to be hidden. It's not to be ashamed of. Most of his children are going to go through the slums. We're going to actually have to go through everything that the children are going through so that we can actually reach them. Why would someone who is addicted to alcohol, but trust what I say, if I've never been addicted to alcohol? Why would someone that is in selling drugs, why would they believe that, I'm going to be able to help them when I ain't never sold drugs in my life? I mean, you got to be able to go through what these people are going through to actually know what they're feeling. And so the Most High allowed us to see dark. That's why I appreciate the dark. I don't look at the darkness and say, I was a bad person. I was actually going through it because he made me go through it so that I can have a compassionate heart, and I can have compassion when it's time for me to go out here and reach the children. I don't have to judge you or talk bad about you. God loves you. The Most High God loves you no matter what sin you commit. If you woke up today, you have another opportunity to fix yourself. If you die tonight and you in sin, it's over. It's nothing you can do.
You gotta come back and do this bullshit all over.
What?
Live the same life that you figure it out. Each time you go back, it gets better and better. They're the same life. They keep going
pretty much. I mean, it's like a lot of people. This is one thing that I noticed about, pastors. Pastors, they look great when they get out there. They're dressed nice. Their wives is taken care of. The family is beautiful. The church choir is on point. The church is on deck. They got the colors and color coded. It's matching and everything. They came up with a nice name, Rising Star or Mount Zion or whatever it come up with. And everything is orchestrated perfectly. It just looks so nice. And everybody like my church. I love my church because my pastor is this and my pastor is that. But I also look at the bigger picture and I say, why is it that the pastor pretends or acts like he never been through nothing? It's like he don't talk about. Yes, he has. The thing is, they don't talk about their troubles. They don't talk about when they were in darkness. They talking about us being darkness. They gonna tell you about the man on the street selling drugs, and why the ladies on the street, why they selling their bodies. But they act like they wasn't the pimp that was selling on that woman that they married right there, that's sitting next to him right now. That was they whole a long time ago when they was 14, 16, 18, and now they 55 and they sitting in this high place, and they don't tell us about those days.
So we call them hollow bones. Where you doing everything, you're standing under the Mason, the Masonic order, and you start off for a second, just for a quick second, that you're doing it for the people in the love, but you ain't doing it for the love.
We have to actually be able to be real with our children. These are our children. These are right. This is what I'm saying. If we don't be honest with them and tell them that we've been where they've been, then they're never going to truly understand or believe us or believe in what we speak, because we act like we just on this pedestal because we got God. But we have to show them and let them know that we once too was in darkness, and that's what a lot of pastors don't do. So that's one reason why I actually pushed away from the church, and I started having the church inside of me. The church is just an empty place. It's just an empty place until we actually get in it. And then the Holy Spirit fills that place because our bodies are there. But before our bodies get there, it's just an empty room. So it's inside of us. So when we get there, we sing praise, we do our praise worship, we do whatever we do, and we bring the Holy Spirit, because if one or two gather together, he will be in the midst. That's why it gets so heated when you're in church, because we bring it.
Well, let me ask you something. So after this realization, after you come to, I call it second stage, what was your thoughts then? Before you found knowledge? Or did you search for knowledge? Or when you started?
For me, I have an incredible journey. It's such an honor to be able to say that I am a visionary. And a visionary is someone that can see the future, someone that has thoughts and be able to tell you what's going to happen in the future, and those things come to realization. I have dreams. I have different ways of communicating with the Creator. I knew when I was about 25, I started to have this it's just like an unexplainable, incredible feeling of I'm not like everybody else, and I'm going to accept it. I just accepted that, okay, y'all think like this and I think like that. And I pushed away from everybody. If you don't like the way I think, then fine. We don't need to be around each other. So I started getting stronger in the process, but it took a while. It took for me to be kicked out, talked about, I'm crazy.
Your fire. You was going to war, the fifth spirit. You was going through the fifth spirit, which is the separation, the colors, the sword, the colors that they show you on the hieroglyph. So you went to war with your lower self. You was like, hold on, I realized in the sixth spirit who I am. And then when I realized who I am, I'm going to war. Going to war is going to war with some people around you. It's the same resemblance. Because what I did in the same essence is that nigga who jumped in my car and talked that Mason shit, that lower self shit, and I got tired of hearing it. I'm saying, okay, he getting in my car, so what I'm going to do is talk that guy body shit, and they're going to get the fuck out the car. So that was my way. As soon as they hopped their ass in the car, when I just said, what's up? That nigga jump in real quick type shit. You ain't even got a chance to say nothing. I'm like, yeah. So he get to talking to us, and I start asking him questions. That's another thing. Keep by asking questions to motherfuckers that don't want to listen, because what you're doing is you crank start their mind, and when they thinking over there on their own, they'll kind of listen to you too. So y'all be building. But anyway, I just started talking that God body shit. But what happened to me is them motherfuckers started listening. They started sitting in the car listening and shit. So I was like, okay, I didn't know this was going to happen. But it was a surprise. They didn't get out, is what I'm saying. Yeah, but that was my weapon right there. Because I had got tired of playing, with my acting, supreme acting. Acting like I'm interested in Derrick Rose. Got injured all the time. Acting like, got tired of that shit. It took a lot of energy. But go ahead. I just want to know so in essence, saying that was your head root. That's when you went to war with the lower self. So you start really going against the grain, so to speak, meaning that the average mind frame was telling you you're becoming different. What is your problem? That's basically how it went for you. The matrix telling you that. What are you doing? Are you stepping outside the box? How you fight that? How you know to keep being you instead of being who they want you to be?
Me personally, because I like to speak for me because I don't know everybody's journey, and I know that everybody has their own special, unique, characteristic story. Okay, because this is a real book, and we're rewriting it, and our names are in it. Okay, so the book is being rewritten with all things in it. So just know that this is a real movie. Okay, this is not just something that we making up. We didn't just wake up and say we was gonna be like this. So for me actually being able to cut out the how do I want to say it, the system, just being able to actually to look at the system like I'm not scared of y'all no more. I understand what y'all trying to do to me. Like, right, they got a system called bipolar. They got a system called depression. They got a system called schizophrenic. Right. So all these visions that I think you're seeing, they want you crazy. Like, I mean, I'm really having visions. Like, this is a real true story. I've seen angels and everything. Like, not with wings, because the way that they make it seem like angels is gonna come, they gonna have wings and they gonna fly out the sky. No, that ain't how they came. Okay, they came in a regular body. And they just was borrowed. You feel me? So when I tell people the story, sometimes they be like, okay, yeah, you're crazy. Because the things that I see, they don't see. And I understand now that they're not supposed to see. It's not for you to see. He didn't choose you to see. And that's where it becomes
you gotta
jealousy.
Hold on, Queen. Right, because you gotta walk a walk before you can get that sight. This ain't no just skip over from Mary Lou Red and land and then pop over here because you feel like you want to be God's body. Hell no. That shit ain't easy. Everybody can't get that gift. You gotta have that pain to get there. And what happens is the shit you say they started to see. So the next time they see you, they don't really say shit. They just sit around you for no fucking reason. Or they might want to smoke with you or something. It's just that they want to be around you. And they just talk all this dumb shit until before they leave, they say, hey, tell me about that God body shit you were saying the other day. Yeah, they try to make it seem like just so happened, but that's really what they want to know because what you said came to pass. The TV talk right to them so they go home. You just can't be scared to say it. Mm-hmm.
This ain't something that you just wake up and be like, all right.
No, initiation.
I'm going to be a Hebrew today. I'm going to be your chosen child. No, it's like you are literally, you have visions and you have thoughts and you see things that make you realize that something is wrong. What am I going through? And really, while I thought it was wrong, I woke up and realized, okay, I think the first time I actually had my realization that I knew that it was spiritual was I was in LA. I live in LA. I'm born and raised in California, Long Beach. I was raised in LA. So it was like, okay, a friend of mine he left me in a hotel. I was homeless and he left me in a hotel and I couldn't understand why. I was just like, what did I do to you to make you do this? And he was just laughing. It was funny. It was like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, wow, like I didn't have nowhere to stay. I didn't have nowhere to go. The room was about to be checked out at 12. I was just like, why couldn't you just drop me off? Right? Why couldn't you just drop me off?
You didn't know why he was doing that.
Look, I'm about to tell you on the real, bro. Like, this really happened to me. I'm like, so I'm on the phone with him, and I don't gangbang, but I'm around a whole bunch of killers, you feel me? So I'm like, low-key, I'm thinking about having one of my people go over there and do what they need to do. Like, you just gonna leave me here?
Illusion. So this is the perfect illusion to get you popped off. Go ahead.
So as I
get ready, I'm sorry, baby, let me pause. I'm gonna explain to the people what's going on.
Okay.
The shadow walkers is this, even though you don't get named, you haven't named them yet. There's this, even if you're not aware of just the fact that you asking like, "Po, what the fuck you talking about?" Don't mean they don't exist. They there. It's just that until you become aware of them is when you see them. But they're there. So what they're doing is setting her up. Satan is performing an illusion, hoping Satan is performing an illusion, hoping she feeds into it. The thought of her saying, "I know killers," they already knew she was around killers. And that I'm going to get one of them. If you ever seen the first 48, how it started off as nobody, then it turned one person to two people, and she'll be in that type of mode. So now
all I have to do, bro, that's all I have to do is make one call. Like, on the real, like I knew who I knew, and I knew that I was a good person, and things like this don't happen to me. We was cool. Me and this guy was cool for like 6-7 months. He knew I was homeless. He was helping me out. He would give me a room every now and then. You know, he would drive me to my important places that I need to go. He was like there for me. I thought he was there for me. So when I woke up, because, I mean, I was comfortable around him. Usually when I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to sleep regardless. But I was comfortable around him, so I fell asleep. And when I woke up, he was gone. And I'm looking around like, did he leave me $20 or did he leave something so I can get on the bus? No, he left me. So when I called him, he was laughing like, oh, you'll be all right. Well, you know, you a real ass bitch. You know, you're going to be able to get your shit. And I'm thinking to myself like, damn, like if that's what it was, I could have just went somewhere else. So I ended up like getting at him in a way where I was like, you don't know who you messing with. This is how I got at him. I was like, you don't know who you messing with. I'm going to call out on my God. I was like, you messing with a child of God. I'm not going to fight the battle. I'm going to let him fight it for me. And I literally said these words, you're going to get what you deserve. Okay?
Right.
2 weeks later, 2 weeks, this is when I realized that I was like, whoa. I mean, for real. 2 weeks later, the man was dead. He got shot. Somebody walked up to him in his face and shot him in the face. I was angry with the man. On the streets of LA, everybody looking at me like, well, you the one that had beef with him and you the one that was mad at him. I'm like, look, yeah, he left me in a room. Okay, he left me in a room. I mean, at the end of the day.
Hold on, they ain't even going to wait till you call the people, the shadow walkers, go show their face. They going to put you in there anyway. So you wasn't really that woke. You was kind of woke. But
no, I wasn't woke at all. No, I was going through my journey. I wasn't woke.
Okay, that's why they got you. You can't see none of this. Like, how the fuck am I in this situation with just the thought that I ain't even call nobody? This nigga
I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even really say anything about nothing about the killers. I didn't say that. I had told him. I knew in my mind all I had to do was call somebody, but I didn't say that to him because he's a gangbanger. Right? So in my mind, if I would have threatened him, if I would have threatened that man, I already knew that he had bitches that he could have had come fight me. They gangbang. So all you got to do, that's what the gangbang girls do, is they ready for war. So I wasn't finna go there with him because I was like, all right, whatever, it is what it is. You left me in the room, it's cool. I was like, don't trip. My God gonna handle it. And I promised him that he was gonna get what he deserved. But I did not know that my tongue had that much power to actually just end the situation like that.
And let me pause you. This is what we call in Godspeed science, the matrix still running. This is meaning is the fact that even though she didn't call, even though she kind of sat back on the situation played out as if she did call and did handle that business, and the dude still died. So they kept the program running. The matrix had to keep running because she's a glitch. She was supposed to call and be locked up right now. That's how they had her written off. And now she's still here, but the shit still got to play herself out. Only she can see the glitch. Like, wait a minute. So you don't want to know that you was going to do it.
It spooked me so much, bro. It spooked me a lot because I knew him and I cared about him and I loved him. I really was kind of like saddened by what happened, but I was like in my bubble where I knew that I went through something with him, and I knew that I went to God and I was like, God, handle my lightweight. And I knew that I was like, look, he did this to me for no reason. And at the end of the day, when it happened, it was like, whoa, I didn't mean for that to happen. You feel me? I wasn't trying to say that. That's not what I was saying. But that's what God handled.
Hold on. Let me tell you a story then. Aset was going through the desert, and Aset is a great mother goddess. You know, Asa, God, body and man. You know, Aset, the mother Mary or whatever, and the son Haru. But Aset was going through the desert, and she needed a place to stay, and she really didn't announce herself as being queen over the creation at that time in Egypt. And she was knocking on door to door. She knocked on the first door. Maybe the second, but she knocked on the first door. The lady looked at her. She seen her with two scorpions, and she slammed the door. And she like knocked again. She opened the door and she just looked. She didn't say nothing. She just slammed the door. So I said, went to another space. They let her in. They let her lay down and rest. When she went to sleep, and then when she went into trance, meaning is when you went into your God get that nigga mode. She went into trance, meaning when she went to sleep, the scorpions crept out the crib, and they went and stung the lady. Crept in the crib and stung her. They killed her ass. The one that didn't let her in. They knew they couldn't do it while she was there because she wouldn't allow it. So they still had that vengeance, like, I'm going to get your ass, you know what I'm saying? You don't play her like that. And they went back in her absence, so they did get her back. But she said was never aware of it. So it's the same thing as what you're saying now. You see what I'm saying? The scorpions was what happened to do. Your sleep represents the trance you went in. And it happened beyond your, your hands were still clean. And in that, you witness the power of your tongue and your thought. You know that? So you didn't have to actually do that and learn the hard way. But that's the story. That's a true story about, an ancient Egyptian story. You can go ahead. Oh, you still there?
All that. It's real.
Can I say something?
Hold on. Queen, do anybody got any questions? We usually take questions and answers. This is a question and answer show. Y'all can ask the Queen any question y'all like.
Please do.
I'm pretty sure she'll be able to answer it. Go ahead, B. I hear that might be the scientist. Is that you?
Yeah. How y'all doing?
What up, brother? Good to have you.
Just glad to hear you talk. And
I can't really say I got a question more than just trying to share information. I mean, I just love what the flow you were getting and making sense. It's like Bobby Hammond would be able to decipher, certain events and make sense of them and put them where the brothers and the sisters can understand it. And then see how this energy works. Because that's what you was talking about earlier. You was talking about, when you see certain things, you connect with certain frequencies. You know what I'm saying? You raising your vibration up, and you seeing this stuff because the way, the energy flows, you connect with some of that energy. That's what it is. And I know, you catch that. You catch that.
All day. Yeah, all day. To where it's I eat to go to sleep like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so like, I even know the effects of one meal. And it affects me because I don't really get down like that on the food, but I eat to go to sleep. And let it become so light that it's a different feeling. I don't get tired. Like your boy, what's his name say? What's his name who made that song? Kevin Gates, I don't get tired. Yeah, see how they creep through, even the unconscious, conscious still trying to creep through, but you vibe right. And then that, and you vibe right.
Adding to not getting tired. The way that the Most High has revealed to me time it's amazing because we're on a systematic time that was created. The timeline is created, 12 hours on the clock, 24 hours in a day, 1 day, 60 minutes 60 seconds makes a minute, 60 minutes make an hour. All of that was created. So when you break out the matrix, when you break out of the system, when you actually break the chains off of your brain and you become free, you no longer are on that time. You can stay up, you can train your body to do almost anything. So for me, I haven't actually been on government time since I woke up. Like I wake up at the same time every day, every night at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's almost like between 3 and 4, I'm gonna wake up. And when I wake up, it's something that he wants to tell me. And he didn't just wake me up for nothing. Low key, you gotta look at it like when you wake up because you was shook. People think they just wake up, but no, he said, wake up. Time to get up. Get up, get up. Something just woke you up, like your mama waking you up for school in the morning. It's the same system. So I literally didn't have to go through, I'm gonna be on the 12 o'clock time. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. I don't live off of nobody's time. So by you saying that, it just added to the fact that I know that I'm chosen because I don't go off of other people's time. I don't eat like everyone else. When it comes to eating habits, people look at me and they think, oh, you're so thin, you're so, you're on point. They don't know the health because I'm really just naturally thin. But health-wise, I haven't been working out for this body. I didn't have to do nothing for this body. It's the way I was made. Hold on a second.
Okay, got you. Brian, you want to add on anything from that? Not to be like a brother bragging or anything, but like you said, the vibration is real. And we vibing already before we become an actual manifesting being. It's just that steel is heavier than wood.
Yeah,
so
it's right. That's what it is. That's perfectly what it is. You become like I always say, you write your own program, you rule. And what is it? I don't know if domain is right, but you rule everything you're going to do. You set a focus. You catch what the frequency, the way it moves, and the energy moves, and you have to they catch it in the wind, and you have to.
I want not to cut you off, brother. I want to bring up a subject. This is going to change the whole tempo, but I just want to bring this out, especially on live broadcasting, because a lot of my people, a lot of my children, a lot of my children of the sun are not aware of the silent weapons of war. And silent weapons of war means that it's not going to be a bomb. It's not going to be a gun. It'll be something you can't see. So that being said, right, something you cannot see, but it's a weapon and it's tearing you down. It's attacking you. And I really want to bring up the subject of Gwen Towers. Gwen Towers. You are a scientist and you have a lot of knowledge, and I give that to you, and I respect you, and I'm honored to be able to share my thought with you because I know that our frequencies are on the right frequency. I'm on your frequency, and the energy is with you. So if I can ask, do you know what a Gwen Tower is?
Scientists?
I'm asking you, scientists, anybody on the line. Do you guys know what a Gwen Tower is? It's spelled G as in George, W-E-N as in Nancy. Gwen Tower.
You want to answer that? Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. No, I'm stumped. I don't know about that. Share that. What is that?
Oh, Gwen Tower, the F Tower, the LEF Towers. They just have them disguised in certain ways, and they call them Gwen Towers with the low wave frequencies. The man move on the same frequency wave as the phone. So you have a lot of, you can do that and do the scientific math for that. And part of the first thing that Obama did was took the AM, FM frequency, where you just use the antenna, analog signal, and kept that for themselves, and then gave us the digital signal. So what do they need? Why was that most important to rob us of the analog signal and then keep, make it to a digital system? What do they need that signal for? So that they can pack more bullshit on the Gwen Towers or the F Towers that she spoke of.
Now, to add to that, the information that the Most High gave me as far as the Gwen Towers go, I had initially was introduced to the Gwen Towers because I took a picture. I love taking pictures. I'm a picture fanatic. So when it comes to me, I love pictures. I just feel like, this is my time on earth. And back in the day, our ancestors didn't have a camera in their hand where they could just take a picture of where they at,
Freeze time. They ain't had no time travel machine, freezing time.
Right. They had to do all kinds of stuff to get a picture. So for me, the pictures is like awesome. I love pictures already. So I'm taking a picture and I posted it up, and someone on my page said, and I know this is one of my messengers, one of my sent angels that the Most High has sent already ordained for me, and was the one that was going to introduce me to the knowledge of knowing what the Gwen Towers were. But at the time, I just posted up the picture. The picture went up, and somebody said, "You know what that is?" And I'm like, "What?" I mean, what? I wasn't even aware of what he was talking about because I was just taking a picture. And in that picture, I was standing by a tree that looked like a Gwen. Well, it looked like a tree. It looked like a tree to me at first. Consciously, I did not notice that in the tree. But he said it's a Gwen Tower. It's a manipulating system. It basically is, do your research. He told me to do my research. And so I typed in, what is a Gwen Tower? Gwen Towers are disguised as cell phone towers. They have them all over the United States. They have them all over. I mean, they look like cell phone towers because they have like these, it's the way that they're built that they look like they're sending out some type of signal. And so once I did my research, the Gwen Towers are able to dream for you. They send out low frequencies that can actually send magnetic waves through your brain to make you think a certain way, to make you feel a certain way. Okay, so what they're doing is they're doing this in the masses. So they're sending out these towers that are attached to the chemtrails, that are attached to the HARP program, that are sending out thought. They're sending out manipulating waves. They're sending out erasing memory, thinking for you, dreaming for you. They can actually, when we have a situation like, oh, Orlando, somebody just walked into the place and just shot up the place. And it looks like they just shot up the place. But in reality, something led them to shoot up the place. Something was in their head to make them say, go do it. You feel me?
Inception. What you describe in the movie Inception, you describe in the movie, I actually know what you're talking about. There's a machine that they built to take in all the information off the internet and all the information and emotions to compute them to certain people. And it's able to predict your next emotion. And it can
they can predict more than that. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's a hypnotizing system. We look up silent weapons of war. They used this back in the day when Hitler was around. They used this as a weapon. It's a weapon. So if we have weapons that are placed up in our country right now, all over the United States, and they have weapons that are silent, and we know this, and then we can't realize why we wake up in the morning, we turn on the news, and it was just like, dang, all that happened last night.
Well, I'll give you an example. When you wake up, when you've been kicking it and your ears ringing the next day, or the fact that you singing this song in your head 7 o'clock in the morning and you don't know why. That's the if you're aware of it, you know that's the download. That's how, I mean they've been overloading your ass if you start getting echoes of it then the next day. But yeah, that's why that happens. Killings and certain things.
It happens because right now what they're doing it's an ethnic cleansing that they're doing on the chosen Jews, right. The true Jews. I'm gonna speak it. I'm gonna tell it, and I'm gonna tell it the way it is. The Most High has awakened my soul, and He promised me that the things that I say are not coming from me. The words that come out of my mouth, yes, my lips are moving, but it's not me moving them. It's the Spirit of the Most High. The Most High God has taken over my body, and He told me, and He showed me, and He took me to the top of the mountain, and He showed me the whole land, the new land, the land of Eden, where we just got it made. We ain't got no issues, none. Like, it ain't no, we don't even know what money is. We don't even know. We be like, what's that? Like, you feel me? Like, all we do is go out and have treasure hunts every day. All we do is go out and dig in the earth, and actually, we walk down the road, and we run into a waterfall full of fresh water, and we don't even know where it came from. It was just there. You might just walk down the road. We all trying to figure out what, why is it always beautiful over here? We don't even need no sun, because the sun is the Son of God, which is the light in me that's going to be able to shine in that place wherever He put me. And I'm saying this because He told me this, and He promised me that the things that I say are not just being said. He promised me. He didn't just tell me to go out and speak to the nation in His name. Don't take the credit. This is what He told me. Do not take the credit. Don't sit up there and be like, oh, you so pretty and you so beautiful. And oh, look at me. No, let me show you who sent me. Let me tell you about who told me to tell you the truth. The truth is, it's already done. Everything that we've been visioning, everything that we've been seeing, everything that we think about, it's already done. It already happened before. So all we're doing, we died in our past life. When we died in the past life, our ancestors, whoever they were, they never bowed to the king, to the pharaoh, whoever he was, the one that they say was the king, he was running everything, and he said that y'all gonna have to submit or die. Our people, the ones who woke us up, they didn't submit. And so therefore, because they died in our name, they died so that we could live. And we came back in another form. So we are them living in another body. Queen Nefertiti, Queen Sheba, King Tut.
Right. Because that's the afterlife. That's the purpose of being a god, is to come back and remembering who you was. So Cabal told his buddy before he killed himself, because Caesar had took his female, Cleopatra or whoever, and she started fucking with Caesar. In the spiritual realm, it really represents she took an earthly frame of mind. So he killed himself. He couldn't take the pain, and he told his buddy to remind me who I am when I come back. So they're going to meet up in a future life, and they both knew this, and we got with his buddy, which I call Sticks. Godspeed Nation, remind me who I was when I came back. And out of the blue, he didn't know why he said that. He said, you football. And I'm going to tell you that you're back.
So can you really just imagine back in the day when they used to make movies for us, like when they really made movies? Now they making some weird stuff. They don't even make movies no more. But back in the day when we was kids, when we was growing up, and we watched any movie that had something to do with a king and a queen, and it was like everybody went to war over the queen, right?
Yep.
The queen got stolen, or the queen, they was coming for the queen, or something happened with the queen, and then the king was like, we finna go to war, they got my queen.
Right.
And all those, I mean, everyone, all of them, every single last movie, even in the medieval times when they show you 300, and when they talk about all the other, stories that happened in those days, if it was a king and a queen involved, it was always protecting the queen.
Now you got to think about it from what you're saying, that the spiritual side to how you read and think in hieroglyphs, it'll teach you how to read and see through anything. Anything you read, you'll see the truth. You'll see. And the way of that is that when I said cabal, I didn't look at it as a person and another person. I looked at it as an entity or a spirit killing another spirit. And what happened is, many of us that we killing ourselves. The black man is really saddened that Caesar has taken his queen. As we know now, Caesar, the matrix, the material world, has taken this queen because God's body get no respect. So this is what we live in now. And he's trying to figure out how to get his queen back. He said, this time I'm not killing myself. I got to get her back by any means necessary. And we can all agree to that, fellas, that we do have a problem. As you see, our program becoming basketball wives. That is not nothing to there's nothing really entertaining about that, but that's to make the queen feel depressed and the brother feel depressed because they can't do that shit. And on top of feeling depressed, it's called intermediate injury. It's like an intimate problem with your cable. You get them squares and static and shit in the house because she's thinking, damn, I wish I had this some type of way. She don't look no better than me, so the grass can be green on the other side. So now all of a sudden it's a slight distaste in the air. She don't know she feeling like this. She just say, he might say something and it appear to be the wrong thing through the bloodstream. It come up as, why you say that? But really it come from the reality TV. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, reality TV is one source, but if we as
one
people
source, we just narrowing it down.
Now, see, what I'm saying is, I'm speaking on just, okay, that's one source, the television, and that's a major source that actually has our brains actually in turmoil and keeping us in bondage. But I'm saying, as we have people like you and I, you are where you're at, I'm where I'm at. So I'm speaking just like you speaking out. And these people are not being accepted. These are the people that are considered to be crazy. These are the people that are considered to be weird. And I don't know what they're talking about. And girl, if you don't know, then they talk bad about us, if you want to say it like that. And they look at the television, and it takes for the television to say it for them to believe it. So if we make it on the TV, and we was doing this right now, what we doing right now live on the radio, but let's say we was on a television set and we was able to have people turn to the channel.
Well,
everybody
was playing the BET Awards. Go do how they clap when dude said what he said. The motherfuckers was lost. They didn't know what to do. They was like, wait a minute. They didn't even know to do anything. The motherfuckers in there drunk. He in there with baby. These are all Matrix cloned out drone motherfuckers. So when he said that, I don't know the dude's name. That was like an example of how it would look. Jesse Wiz, and that's an example of how motherfuckers look at us when we first talk, how we talk when they see us. That's how
right. But you know what it is once we do it, and because we're doing it, not once, we are doing it, and we give the praise to the Most High. We give him all the credit because he is the one that actually gave us the eye. He gave us the third eye. The third eye they consider the third eye to be devilish. I had some real nasty, evil, messed up things being said about evil. But I get it. Because if you against me, then that means that you are from the other side, and I realize that. I get it now. I got my discernment is real well. Like, no matter what, I'm not speaking evil. I'm not speaking nothing wrong. I'm not even down on white people or anything. Tell people, people without pigment, melanin is just, I love my melanin. I love my culture. I love my roots. So because I love my roots, that makes me racist. That's because we are in a brainwashed community. We're in a brainwashed community that if you empower your people, you're racist. That's not racism. I got many of people that's in my life that are not black or melanin or, of color. But at the end of the day, some of those people of color can be the hurtfulest people. They're the ones that hurt me the most. They the ones that say I'm too skinny. They the ones that say, girl, you need to be quiet. And why you ain't got no man? And it be just like, dang, like, damn, like, y'all just keep on throwing bullets. Like, why y'all don't never say nothing nice? But then, now that I'm stepping out into this world where I'm like, I don't need y'all to say nothing nice because what you say don't matter. All that I say matters. So what I say is what matters and what I think matters. What you say don't matter at all. You can't dictate my life, but because some of those words that they were saying prior when I was in darkness, they mattered. When somebody said something to me, it would be like dang, like, oh my God, that's how people feel, and I would take heed to that. I would really be like, dang, but such and such said this. Who cares about what such and such said? All that really matters is what you think of yourself. People don't realize it. This is something I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna let you have it for a second. Right now, I want you to really think to yourself. Your brain. So the information that you put in your brain is going to be stored as a computer stores information. They say you can only use 10 to 15% of your brain. So what happens to the other 95% of your brain? So you're saying that the other major part of my brain is being told what to think, and I'm over here thinking 15% for myself? Like, oh, that's messed up. So once you actually delete the information in your brain, delete all the lies. Just delete. That's lies. Black is white. White is black. Up is down. Down is up. Left is right. Right is right. Left. and you really just be like, everything they told you was the opposite. Everything that they said was the opposite. So now you really walking around in the world telling yourself this, and you're saying, I'm limitless, I'm fearless, I can do all things. I don't need nobody else to tell me I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I don't need a man to dictate my life. I know I can do this. I'm a great woman. I'm an inspirer. I'm encouraging. I'm uplifting. I'm so sweet. I'm so generous. I'm kind. I'm loving. So you programming this stuff in your brain. And now you didn't deleted all the other stuff. So now whenever you need the I'm loving to kick in, it's right there. Store back there in the back. I'm limitless. Oh, that's right there over there on the side. Oh, I'm fearless. Oh, I need you right now. So now you programmed yourself to actually think the way that you should think, deleting all lies and programming all reality, deleting all doubt. If you doubt yourself, if you think that you cannot do something, you can't do it because you yourself said you can't do it. But if you tell yourself that you can and you elevate yourself and you do what is needed to actually do it, you will be surprised that you can do all things. That's why he gave us a brain. We can use 100% of our brain. And I'm telling you this, they don't make movies like Lucy just for us to see. They make movies like Lucy because they know that we are Lucy and that we can do all things. We can flip, we can climb, we can draw, we can build. We can cook, we can be doctors, we can be lawyers, we can be teachers, we can be all that. We can be anything that we decide that we want to be if we stop allowing them to tell us that if we don't get a piece of paper, we can't do it. You got to go to school if you want to be a doctor. Who says when you can read out of the same book that the doctor read and you can learn how to do the same thing that the doctor did without going to the dang on school? So the school is just telling you if you don't get this diploma or if you don't get this PhD or this, degree, you're not going to be successful.
My permission. That's what they're saying. If you don't give my permission. Okay.
Got to reprogram our brain. We have to reprogram ourselves to realize that we are greatness. We came from greatness. If you look back into our history, our story, not the story that they told you, not the story that you just came on a slave ship, but a story that where was you at before you got on the ship? What was y'all doing before they came? What was going on when, they saw the ship coming, but they didn't realize what the ship was because they ain't never seen those ships before. And so you realize that they was living like gods and goddesses and kings and queens and lords and lordesses, and they was emperors and empress, and they was majesties and your honor, and they was your highnesses, and they were great people, and they had built nice things for us to see, to know how great they were, and they left it for us, and they can't even tear it down. They can't even tear down the monuments because they're so great that they gotta leave them there. But Black people in America have not took the opportunity to go see it, and God took me there. The Most High took me there without me going there. I've seen it. I walked the streets really paved with gold. I've seen something that nobody else saw. The Most High has taken me. He ascended me. I've been ascended. I've been taken up body and spirit, and he allowed me to see what he wanted me to see so I can show y'all, not by just telling you, by showing you, because everything that I say is going to be revealed, and everything that I do is going to be revealed. He already ordained my life before I even knew my life. I didn't even want to come to earth. This is what he told me. He told me that I fought real hard not to come here. I didn't want to come, and that I was really against the whole I didn't want to come. But he forced me to come down here. And just like Jesus, as far as what we know, Yeshua, the way that I call him, he didn't want to come either. He just was forced. He had to come down here. He came through, and then he had to tell everybody, and he was like, please, God, do I have to die? Can I stay for a couple more, please? Is there any other way? Can we solve this any other way? So he said, you're going to do what I said do, and you're going to be all right. And I'm like, that's what I got to do. I got to go out here in the world, and I got to tell everybody about Yahshua, and I got to tell everybody about the truth, how we got here. And I didn't have to read it from a book. This didn't come from a book. My knowledge doesn't come from a book. It comes from my journey. It comes from me walking on the streets and realizing that I'm out my body. No longer do I walk in this body. I'm just a spirit using this body. I'm borrowing this body.
I mean to cut you off. I got you. Okay, so I'll say this and then let people add on that the magic part of that. So what she's saying, the magical part is, and then just to get a feeling of it about controlling your own reality and controlling the external war world with your third eye and your chakras lined up and your vibration high is in a dream. If you're in a dream, first realize you're in a dream. And if you know you're in a dream, then fly. And if you can do these type of things, then it'll seep into your DNA. And once it keeps into your DNA, which you're doing is programming yourself, you'll see reality is the same way. And the way to start is to sleep more, stay into the dream state more, stay laying down in the sub-dream mode, not even really sleep, but just out of the matrix for like a week or two. And you will see when you come back to the matrix that it'll be like a dream world, and a lot of external forces will have less connection and less pull to you. What it is like the matrix we plugged up too damn long. Sometimes we got to sit the fuck back for a long time, and I mean rest, plugged up too long. So that's the way. But to do the magic, you got to control your dreams. And then, like I always said, I had a dream that there was a lion chasing me, and in this dream, you don't ever ask yourself, why is the sky purple? Why all of a sudden, why the hell you not asking yourself this? Why? So some type of way you're dreaming, but you don't know you're dreaming. But in that dream, I seen a lion and the sky was purple. And I said, damn, that's odd. So I just automatically knew it was a dream without knowing it was a dream. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had to work for it in the dream, but I seen a lion. And I said, well, what I'm going to do, since the sky purple, because evidently somewhere, this is not a place that I'm used to, is when this motherfucker run at me, I'm going to run at him. And that's what happened. And I grabbed his ass, I grabbed him by the mouth and threw him down the well in darkness. And he was down there, and I was like, okay, cool. So then I looked around, and the other one's backed off again. A little while, I took off doing some extraterrestrial shit, just enjoying myself, and I woke up. But then I knew that feeling, you know what I'm saying? Because in the dream, you're going to automatically come from the awakening stage, which is your matrix inputs, to the dream, and you're going to automatically run from the lion. But when you can sit there and say, okay, fuck this, I ain't going to run, I'm going to see what happens, I'm going to just do what the fuck I want to do, and it actually happens, it soaks into your DNA, and that same feeling is the way you control reality. You got to remember, when shit happens, it's not happening to you, it just happens.
Right, and see, the thing is, a lot of people miss the messengers, okay? This is the next message. Like right now, I just stepped outside, and there's a bug in Arizona that buzzes really, really loud. It's just like really, really loud, right? But as I started talking right now, they all stopped at the same time. Like,
okay.
Okay.
So now you can say one or two things. It just so happened, or is this shit real? This is my dream. So now you're in the dream, and you're starting to ask yourself, why is the sky purple? And if it is purple, can I change it? So now when you start talking like that and the butter stopped there, nature is listening. I told you was nature. You bring us.
I'm just saying. I get it. But see, it's people around us that don't understand. They want to say, I have people tell me, well, if you think you a god, then walk through the wall. Or, they'll say some silly stuff like they want to, if you die, you got to do something special to make them believe.
Because there's a lot of people that think that. We're going to clarify that right now. That's don't cast pearls of swine. Sometimes people say grenades, they know they ain't going to wake up, so they just fucking with you. But on the flip side of that, you tell them to walk your walk, and take the journey with you. It ain't about fucking, you can't show nobody no shit like that at this point in time. But if they take that journey with you and sit next to you and teach some of the stuff you talk about and how the earth moves, they'll see it. That's how you explain it to them.
But I'm just saying, like, sarcastic ways that people can actually go. But that was leading me to the point that I've actually been able to share my journey and share how I am a part of nature and how nature accepts me and how I've actually been able to sense the messengers coming through nature. Nature meaning all nature. Mother is nature. And so I was at the very beginning of my actual spiritual messenger journey, when I started getting the messengers where I don't have to get my answers from humans or from mankind. I can actually be like, okay, the spirits is going to bring me the answer. Like, they were like, oh, you talk to dead people? Well, no, it's not that I talk to them like, oh, they can walk up to me and just say, what's up?
Oh, no, but, you around. No. How much times you be kicking with clones? But I've had some spiritual journeys where I've actually encountered. I've encountered some. First I'm gonna share,
well, let me share the spiritual journey first. All right, so I'm on the Greyhound bus. I was probably like 22. 10 years ago, I didn't have no money. I had my baby. She was like 2 years old. We were struggling, and I was like, man, like I'm going back to where I was going in Arizona, coming from Vegas, and I was like sad. I was questioning, why did I have a baby? Like I really did. I was just like, dang, like I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like really, really questioning in my head, in my brain. And I didn't want my baby to ask for nothing to eat because I didn't have no money. So I was just praying like, God, please don't let her get hungry, please, And so we stopped somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And we got off to stretch our feet or stretch our legs or whatever. And, I usually read a book to her. So I'm reading her this book to keep her mind occupied. So I'm reading her this book. And so this man walked up to me and he gave me
black?
He was black. He was. He had on a black. He had on a no. He was an old man. He had a black suit and a hat, and I'll never forget. He had a hat on, like for real. Like he was
like
swagging.
The one that was on the bus. Like the one that was on the bus when I was on the bus. He was white. But it's a white dude with a black hat and a black suit and tie. He looked like one of the Amish type shit.
Yes. Yeah. He had on a black suit with a black tie. I'm not lying. Like I didn't even really pay too much attention to him.
Yeah,
I was in my zone, and I was already I need some money. Right. So I was like, okay, boom. The man walks up to me.
Like, what the hell?
And he gives me a book, okay? And I was just reading my baby a book, okay? So I like to read. I've always read. So I'm like, okay, when he gave it to me, I took it. He was like, God told me to get it to you. That's exactly his word. He said God told me to get it to you. So it was like a Jehovah's Witness book, but it wasn't too big and it wasn't too small. It was just like, it was reasonable. So I ended up putting the book. I usually throw them books away after they give them to me. Now, I'm keeping it real. I would take them in respect, but I wouldn't read them like that. I really wouldn't, because I was a Christian, so I really didn't even put my mind into reading no Jehovah's Witness book. And so at this particular time, I was feeling like, well, dang, I read this book to my daughter all the time. Let me just see what they're talking about. So the book was titled, Do You Know Your Father? That's what it said on the front. Okay.
Do you know your father?
When it said that, my conscious mind was like, fuck that nigga. And I wasn't thinking about God. I was thinking about my daddy. I was thinking about my real dad. Like when it came to my head, I was, do you know your father? I was thinking about my dad because we haven't had a great relationship. So I started like, man, I'm not going to call that nigga. I'm not calling that nigga like whatever. I'm not, man, please. Because I was broke. I needed some money. I needed some help. But then here comes, do you know your father? Right? So as I opened the book, I'll never forget it because it was like, no, I'm not talking about your father on earth. Like, this is how it started. Like, the straight conversation. Like, no, I'm not talking about your father on earth. I'm talking about your father in heaven. He will never forsake you. He will never leave you. He will always be there at every recital, every rehearsal, anything that you do. You can call on him at any time. He's always watching. I'm like, what? Like, low key, I really didn't know God like that. So I'm like, okay, so he's talking about God. Oh, so now I start reading more. I read more. I continue to read. I get to the back of the book. It was $100 bill on the back of the book.
Yeah, that was God's body.
So hold on, that ain't even the part that really, really excites me. All right, it's $100. So I'm like, whoa, I needed some money. So I was like, oh my God, where is that man? So I'm looking for that man. Where's that man? So I'm asking them people, did y'all see that man that was just right here? They're like, what man? I'm like, he just came in. He was right here. No, man, we didn't see him. I'm like, now I'm arguing with the lady. Like, he was just right here. Which way did he go? And she like, I don't know. Nobody came in. I'm like, he was standing right here. She like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He was there. Well, he was there. It's just a vibration at that time. He was driving so high they couldn't really see him. I
get on the bus. Now, mind you, I told you I was on a bus. We was in the middle of nowhere. This wasn't no town to drop people off. I get on the bus. I remember where the man was sitting at. So I'm like, he was right here. They like, what man? I'm like, he was sitting right here. They like, no. And my cousin was on the bus. And I'm like, you didn't just see that man sitting right there. And she like, wasn't nobody sitting there, Kiasha? I'm like, oh my God. Like, all right, whatever. Okay, cool, whatever.
Right.
You feel me? Like, I'm crazy. I'm always crazy. You feel me? I'm always crazy, but I know what I saw.
I know how that goes. When that happens, that's just for you. That's your strength and that's your face. That's your
because of that.
Talk.
Because of that moment in my life, I wrote a song about that. I wrote a song about that man. And I named it That Man because I know I saw him and he was there. And I don't care what nobody say. He brought me the book. He gave me the book and said, "Do you know your father?" And I didn't know who my father was. And at that particular moment, I forgave my father, the earthly father, because it was like your dad or your dad on earth is not.
That. You rose above that. You became God instead of man. Man is angry. God understand. So what happened?
Right. I realized that I didn't come from him. I came from the Most High. The Most High, I was a spirit body, just like Yahshua was a spirit body. He had to come down here. He had a spiritual purpose. He didn't have an earthly purpose. He was already ordained to do what he had to do. And so was I. And I realized that I didn't know him along the way. So he had to show up and let me know. But I didn't know at that time. I was young. I was only 22. I was tripping out. I'll hold on to that memory for the rest of my life. I told you I wrote a song. That's going to be one of my number one hits. Everybody knows that I say, that man, he was standing right there. He was right there. He had on the black hat, that man. So I named the song, "Do You Know That Man?" So you
didn't wake up the same way. You felt the whole different. You raised the vibration. You felt more freer. You felt more lighter. You felt like you didn't have much to worry about, and life became a roller coaster. It's
a lot of things. Another vision that I had prior.
Hold on, quick. I don't mean to cut you off. I know if anybody got any questions, anything they want to add on to what she's talking. I know people might have something they want to say, but they don't want to just cut you off.
I know. Join in. Say something. Where y'all at? Where my family? Where my children of the sun?
Oh, I enjoyed because we talked. We were talking last week, weren't we, Queen? We talked last week when we weren't recorded, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love that flow of what's just connecting to that and having that just acute awareness of being in the know. That's what I call it, just being in the know and intent and purpose with where you're going and the people that you love. And that Yahshua we talked about before, what the Yahshua consciousness is and how you practice it. It's just giving. It's just giving it and helping the ones you love freely without any expectation and just whatever it takes. Where you can just keep pushing that energy. The bigger you make your circle, I guess you could say. And that's. I see people practice that. And they go to the church.
Brian. Yeah, I'm going to cut you off. I just want to add on what you're saying, and you can go ahead. You become self-sustaining. You sustain love. You is love, so you don't need to pull and tug on nobody else. You can be one with yourself. Everybody else gonna pull and tug on you. It don't affect you. But see, without that, you need somebody to help you feel love. You see what I'm saying? You ain't love. You could need. Love.
But if you reach that point of self-love, because self-love is the ultimate love, and when you love yourself, that means that you love the spirit in you, and you realize that you're being moved, right? So that you would actually care for that.
You're solar. You don't need the earth energy. You need the sun energy. You become solar instead of electrical battery Duracell.
Myself, so just going back to how I actually became Shamari Shea, I have to ask myself, I was always an entertainer. I always liked to do music and sing, so I always had a nickname all the time. And all my friends, they've always knew me as China. China. I've been China. That's me. Little China girl, whatever. Okay, so you had your name, right?
Yeah, and so, wild ass name.
So prior, me coming up with Shamari Shea, I thought I was the one that came up with this name. I was like, okay, it's a Hebrew name. I'm going to the Hebrew names and I'm looking it up because one of my friends told me you got to get rid of your slave name, and I'm like, what? Like, what you mean it's a slave name? We like, man, your last name is attached to a slave owner, and you need to figure out where you came from. Is your black? Right? Is your daddy black? Is your mama black? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, so you tribe Judah, so you need to look into your tribe. I'm like, what you talking about? Like, I had no idea what he was talking about. So because I went into my research and I looked up 12 tribes of Israel, so I seen all the tribes, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm Judah.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. What made you do that? Most people would just never did no shit like that. What made you actually go look the shit up?
I already knew that something was happening with me. I was already going through, like I said, before I left California, and my brother, he'll vouch for me, and I'm giving him a shout out right now. There go Poppy, I'm giving you a shout out. You know, he my young king, you know what I mean? One of my young brothers, 21 years old. And, you know, he always was the one that was there for me. Like when I was in that transition of being crazy, you know, he would be like, you ain't crazy. He would just, you know, he would. Right.
He would come to me. He doesn't know what to say.
He always saved me. Like when people would talk bad about me, he would be like, man, she ain't crazy. She just, man, y'all just don't think like her. Like y'all need to leave her alone. She's straight. You know, he would always stand up for me. And I'm like, dang, you so young. Like, how you know the information I know?
Yeah, right,